Hello and welcome to It's All Geek to Me, the pop culture chat show where three friends with varying degrees of knowledge get together once a week to have a chat about all things geek. My name is Rich Gittins, and joining me this week and every week, it's my buddy Chris Lumb. Come on out, Lummy.
Hello.
Hey up, dude. How you doing this week? You all right?
I'm feeling better than you, but it looks of it. You're a bit pixelated.
Am I pixelated? I shouldn't be. Oh, that's weird. Let me. Oh well, we might have to. That's. Oh mate, we're gonna have to do this right as we start the show. Do you know what? I'm gonna turn my Wi-Fi off. I might disappear a second, but we'll see what happens. You might have to run things for a minute, Lummy. You might have to run things for a minute. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I've just turned the Wi-Fi off and I've got the Ethernet plugged in. So am I still pixelated?
That's better. You're coming into focus, I think. Oh no.
Oh,
I don't know. Oh, what's
let's just keep going. So how you doing? I'm pixelated. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. Just doing stuff.
Stuff, nice.
Yeah.
I love. Do you know what? I love your attention to detail at this point in the show every single week. I mean, you out of the three of us are actually probably a lot busier.
Yeah, I've been doing gigs again. You know, gigs, and we did an improvisation beginners course at the weekend. Finished those guys off. They were really good. So that was nice. Nice. Well, I've been putting flat pack furniture together today, Lummy, and quite frankly, I'm fucking furious. Oh man, just what a pain in the ass that is. It was just an absolute shit show. I mean, no problems putting it together. It was just laborious and boring and long. And what were you making? What furniture was it?
It was a cabinet. It was a cabinet, sideboard cabinet for our dining room. So, because just give us a bit more space in the kitchen. It means we could put some plates in and things like that. You seem really interested. There you are. Brilliant. You've been reading Webby's little message that has been. Yes. This is the best start to a show we've ever had. Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Seems like
we can start again if you want.
Welcome to It's All Geek. Right, okay, shall we bring him out? Let's bring out Webby. Come on, Webby. Come on, no.
Shall we start again?
Hey up,
Do you want to start
guys.
the whole show again? Do you want to start the wole show again? We can't do it.
I've only just started.
Martin's here, though.
I'm hoping I don't...
Martin! Hello, Martin. How you doing?
Hello,
Welcome
Martin.
back to the show.
I'm hoping I don't catch pixelitis off Gittins.
Am I still pixelated? Is it all right
Yeah,
now?
you're a little bit...
Yeah, I didn't want to say old, but yeah, you're really like...
I don't know what's going on with this. I'm not sure.
You look like 8-bit Mario at the moment.
Yeah.
That's right. Do I need to go away and come back again? Is that going to help?
I don't know. Who cares?
Right, still here,
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah,
okay. Well,
definitely something not quite as...
Big team horse.
Yeah.
Oh, you've just come in a bit better now.
Thanks. Is that? I mean, weirdly, yeah. I can see the little signal. Anyway, this is. I haven't enjoyed the start to the show. I've got to tell you this, gents. I feel like
I'm here now. Don't worry, guys.
We'll soon sort that out.
Welcome to episode 20. Episode 26, gents. 26. Episode 26.
26.
26 weeks.
26.
What
rhymes with that?
That's a lot.
I'm trying to think of the bingo call for 26, but there isn't one.
No, it's pretty much just 2 and 6. 26.
26, bunch of pricks.
There you are. Well, welcome to everybody. Welcome to another episode of It's All Geek to Me. Feel free to leave your comments down below. We're building a community here, and we like your suggestions, and we like your feedback, and we just like your general input and you correcting us when we get facts wrong. What have you been up to this week, Webford? What's been going on?
A bit of a quiet week, really. A bit of a slow compared to the events of the week before. Yeah, it's been just working. Cracking on, bit of family time.
Nice. How's Robin? Is he feeling better this week?
Yeah, he's much better. But the weekend went by like that. Boom, gone. Whoosh. Yeah. What was that? How was your weekend? Oh, that was quick.
I kept thinking Saturday was Sunday. Do you ever do that?
Oh yeah, but that's better because then you get an extra day, don't you?
Yeah, I like those days.
I thought Friday was Saturday, and then I thought Saturday was Sunday.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like those mornings when you wake up thinking, "Oh man, I got to go to work." Oh no, I don't. It's Saturday. I love those days. They are awesome.
And I had to write on my board that I took out my little clipboard thing that it was Friday, not Saturday, because I'd have just gone on and gone, "Hey, how's everybody doing on Saturday night? Hey."
Weekends are understandable because sometimes your Friday's a bit slow, so it feels like a Saturday. But what's weird is when it's a Tuesday and you feel like it's a Wednesday. There's no explanation for that. It's just mad.
I get that, but if you're the MC of a comedy show, starting the whole night off with the wrong day is just setting yourself up for a fail and a bit of trouble, really, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit of trouble. With the,
so, anything else going on? Anything you've got to share with us, gents, this week? Anything that's been happening in the news? I know there's been an unfortunate. Did you witness the unfortunate accident on the set of Indiana Jones, Lummy, when you were there stalking Harrison Ford?
I was in the bushes with my long lens.
Were you first on the scene going, "Oh no, he needs mouth to mouth. It's my shoulder, you fucking idiot."
You know what it was? You know what it was? It was Lummy thinking, I know, I'm not going to introduce myself to Harrison Ford like everybody else does. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait for the right moment and I'm going to stick my leg out and trip him up.
Or he's going to hold a sign out saying, "Hi, Grandma, Granddad," or something like that. Like on the, did you see that on the Tour de France?
Yeah.
Did you see?
Oh, the guy who collapsed the entire race.
Yeah, the woman who did it. Yeah, she was just
a guy.
Yeah, it's a woman. Yeah, it's hi, Nana and Granddad. Like, and then just absolutely KO'd the whole back. It's mental.
Wow, that's crazy.
Apparently, she's gone into hiding because the event organisers are trying to track her down because they want to sue her.
Yeah, and Nana and Granddad have totally disowned her. Like,
yeah.
No.
They're like, "No, we're going to Switzerland to booking some euthanasia. That's preferable to this." It was Chris. There you are.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same joke as what they just said.
Oh,
what is your problem, Lummy? Seriously, it's all right. Own it. Wear your fandom, your standum.
I didn't trip him up. There he is. Look.
Look, his shoulder is drooping. He has got a shoulder that's drooping. It's
hurting me.
So yes, so
apparently it's quite serious, so isn't it?
They were going to try and film around it, but I think some of the recent reports are it's going to be another 5 weeks delay in filming.
I wonder if it's the weight of that bloody watch he bought. Big heavy luxury watch. Dislocated his fucking shoulder. Did I spend too much? Who knows? Why do I sound like Lego Batman? I've no idea. I've never attempted a Harrison Ford impression before.
Go on.
No, that were it. I'm not. That's it. You'll have to rewind it and watch it later on repeat. Isolate the clip.
Hey, fuckers. Don't lie you.
You know, you could tell he can't get access to any weed in England because I think he'd be a little bit more chilled out if he were back home in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He seems a bit grumpy. Maybe that's why he's so grumpy. Who knows?
It was him twirling his hat.
That hat. No.
Oh, okay. So, wondering because he broke his leg whilst filming Star Wars. He's just done his shoulder in doing Indiana Jones. I mean, I know he likes to do a lot of his own stunts and things like that, but I mean, he's getting to an age now. I'm not really patronising or anything, but you know, maybe just take it easy a little bit.
Man, I agree.
Stuntmen, they're the trained professionals.
Do you reckon stuntmen are the same age, or do you reckon they're?
No, they'll be a good 20 years younger than him. They'll be in their 50s, I would imagine, and just aged up.
Do you reckon that Harrison Ford cries when he hurts himself? Because I can't picture it.
No, I reckon
I'd like
the
to
word
think
bastard and son of a bitch are probably used quite a lot.
Yeah.
It will be bothered, will he?
No.
Yeah. my dad, whenever he hurt himself, he'd use the immortal phrase "shitty bollocks," and I would just love to think of Harrison Ford like just hurting his shoulder and just being like, "Oh, shitty bollocks." There you go. That was my impression, Lummy. Do you like it? That was. Oh, it's shitty bollocks, Mary Poppins.
Shitty bollocks with me, Indiana Jones.
Oh, it's what's it called? Ray Winston. Isn't it? Shitty bollocks, Jonesy.
Oh God, yeah.
that character was shit.
I learned this. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna go Lego Batman on your ass again.
Come on, do it.
I learned this awesome phrase from Ray Winston on the set of Kingdom Skull. Whenever you hurt yourself, you say "fucking shitty bollocks." It makes the pain go away. I work alone.
triple agent, Josie.
Oh God. Well, yeah. I mean,
what the fuck are you talking about?
What are we talking about?
Oh,
Yeah, but this rate, if he keeps hurting himself, it's going to be a couple of years before this bloody film comes out.
Yeah, it is. It is. So some other news this week. George R.R. Martin was. I mean, we say it's news, but again, it's kind of the same stuff rehashed again and again. But here we are. George R.R. Martin at a convention this week has said that looking back, I wish I'd stayed ahead of the books. That my biggest issue was when they began that series. I had 4 books already in print, and the 5th one came out just as the series was starting in 2011. I had a 5-book head start, and these are gigantic books, as you know. I never thought they would catch up with me, but they did. They caught up with me, and they passed me. That made it a little strange because now the show was ahead of me, and the show was going in somewhat different directions. So I'm still working on the book, but you'll see my ending when that comes out. Now, what do we think about? I mean, you've read all the books so far. I know you're a huge fan of the books, and I know you personally have kind of. You seem to have just had enough of it. Like you've kind of got no expectations of the books coming out. Is that accurate to say?
Kind of, but what you got to remember, right, is we live in this age where when things don't come out and satisfy your timeline, you're like, fuck it, I've fallen out with this, blah 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 blah. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say I've fallen out with it. I'm never going to read it. Because clearly, if it comes out, I'm going to read it. As simple as that. Mm-hmm. But that's a personal thing. Even if they suck, I'm going to read them anyway because it's in my DNA to complete things. When I start a run of stuff, I like to try and finish them. You know what I mean? Apart from the odd couple of books, like Hunger Games, for some reason, couldn't get into the 3rd book of that. I just left it, which is really unusual for me.
The film do you reckon they'll film a version of this book then when he's finished it? I assume so. I've no idea,
mate. I've no idea. I think they're done with Game of Thrones. I think they're trying to concentrate on the new era of Game of Thrones.
I mean, is it going to be totally different, do you reckon, to the series?
I reckon he's going to go out of his way to make it totally different and genuinely surprising and way better than the TV show.
It's the only case of that ever happening, isn't it, where a book isn't finished before the series? It must be. I don't, you know.
I think you're probably right, and the thing is, I know that the Double D's both got the showrunners and producers got a lot of stick for it, but again, I kind of feel sorry for them a little bit because, again, they never signed up to write fan fiction, and that is what they've ended up having to do.
Martin's put that lot. I had originally worked with them on the ending. Now has he seen that where the ending got accepted? I think
it's Martin.
Kind of that, Martin, I think, but it's also that. I mean, personally, I've said this from day one. I've said that he should have given him the 1st books and said, "That's all I've got. You're gonna have to wait till I'm done with the rest before you can film it." And if that takes 10 years, it takes 10 years. It depends how fucking greedy you are and how much you want this, whether you'll wait. He's not.
I've got a comment.
Hey, Candy, how you doing? Lovely to hear from you. This is my friend. Candy Decker. Well, lovely to hear from you, Candy. Lots of love to you, Steve, and Maxwell.
Wow.
All the way from Wisconsin, guys.
Oh, wow.
It's nice to hear that. Oh, that's really, really nice to hear. Do we need subtitles for the American audience, do you think? With the
No, Candy. I'm not. I don't think this is going to be offensive, but Candy's a sponge for the English accent. She loves the English accent.
Yeah. Well, Candy,
we love you as well, Candy.
We all live in castles and we're all related to royal people.
I met Candy in London. She knows that isn't true at all. She's been over here. But welcome, Candy. Welcome to the community. Welcome everybody to our community.
Audience, man.
Global audience. Now I know. We had our friend on the Boxing Day show. Came and joined us as a guest host as well, all the way from LA.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
We're talking about George R.R. Martin. So we do think he's going to come up with a different ending for the books now. He's going to go out of his way to do that.
Well, the thing is, the books where they left off, they're actually set up for that already. There's characters in the book that have never been mentioned in the show. There's all sorts of stuff going on behind the scenes. So I fully believe that when he does get around to writing it, it'll be really good. But I also think that nobody has the right to dictate to him when things should be done. And I really respect his opinion when people have said to him, "Oh, come on, man, we're really worried that you're going to get old and die." And he just sort of said,
I mean, I think that's a particularly cunty thing to say.
Yeah, fuck you. That's a really selfish way of looking at it.
You know what I mean? It's going,
yeah.
Yeah. So we love this work more than we respect you as a human being, is basically what they're saying. I mean, there is some truth to that. I mean, that is, we'd all probably say the same thing about most of the works that we've loved, that, you know.
Yeah, I'll jokingly say to you in private that I think he should get on with it. He's not getting any younger. Like, what's he playing at? You know.
So, how many books do you think he will now have to write in order to finish the? He's got to
do the Winds of Winter and something springtime of dragons or some shit. Something to do with the spring. I can't remember the title. Springtime for Hitler.
Yeah. That would be a different ending. I mean, that would take everybody by surprise.
Yeah, they don't call him the best writer in the world for nothing.
A springtime of Hitler's. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be. Yeah, does a bit of a collaboration with Mel Brooks. Just like,
that would be amazing. Have you got any other news?
Yeah, well, Big T Mo's just brought this up, which I think we'll have a quick chat about. Have you seen Disney won't let Lego call the new spaceship set Slave One because of politics? They're now calling the new Lego set Boba Fett Spaceship. Yeah. So
wow,
they did this before with Star Wars with
ridiculous.
It was, Princess Leia. It was originally called Slave Leia, wasn't it, the figure, and they changed it to Jabba's prisoner or something.
Sexy Leia,
whatever.
That's I think that's a bit weird, because the thing is, they
never refer to it by its name in the show or the film.
No, that's true, but
it's this kind of thing of just erasing everything, isn't it? You know, I mean, he's telling me they can't have slaves in the Star Wars universe. I know.
Well, they clearly did, because what were all those people in chains doing in Jabba's palace? You know,
robots are slaves as well.
Slaves as well, of course they are.
This is a problem for me as well, guys. That I think example being Game of Thrones. A lot of bitching about the way women were portrayed, the way prostitution was portrayed, the way the class war was portrayed, but it's set in a fictional universe. So George Martin said himself, "I can do what the fuck I want in my universe."
Yeah,
you know, if you don't like it, go create your own universe.
I get that, but do you know, I was involved in a show that was all over the press because there was in the show. It's an opera. In the show, there was a scene where a bunch of ballet dancers are being forced to dance faster and faster and faster for the pleasures of some soldiers. But in the production we did, in the production that we did, the director decided he wanted the soldiers to strip a woman naked and to attempt to sexually assault her. Then this hero comes in and saves her. And because there was no sort of trigger warning, a couple of people in the audience had issues with it. It got into social media, then the press got hold of it, and actually the huge furore over.
Get in there!
You have to after last week.
Well, I was editing the show, so I had to go over it a few times. So the furore over it was massive, and the actress ended up getting sort of stalked by the local press and stuff like that at the stage door and followed home. And there was loads of stuff. Now the thing is, I didn't necessarily agree with the audience's reaction, but I did think it was just too easy to go, let's have a woman sexually assaulted in the scene and get her tits out. I think that's really easy. I think it'd have been a lot more daring. If you want to take risks, go, okay, well, let's get their soldiers to strip a man naked and point at his little willy and like whip him with their towels and things like that, and do something that's a little braver. And I think George R.R. Martin's excuse or reason there is just a bit of an easy shit excuse. I just think it's a lot brave to have tits and sexual assault on women. It's way too easy these days, or depicted on TV.
It's interesting, the whole thing in it, because you think, I mean, where does the real world end and this imaginary world for all
this is my problem. Who is it for? Who is it for? Mm-hmm. Who are the people that are bothered that history exists and shitty things happened? Mm-hmm. You know, what are they afraid of? That all of a sudden people are going to become really stupid again and start repeating what the Nazis did, or what or start owning slaves again? Because slavery still exists. It's just a different kettle of fish now. You know, I've known loads of people that argue the point that a 9 to 5 minimum wage in this fucking country is akin to slavery. You know what I mean? But who is it for? Who is offended? What do they think they're achieving by trying to change?
Okay, well, in this instance, I think it was somebody who was in the audience who had been a victim of sexual assault and did not expect to see that happening in this opera. You know, so I think that she had a fair point, being a bit like there should be a trigger warning here, because that really upset, because it was a pretty graphic scene that the director had put together, right?
Were there no warnings? Were there no warnings anywhere?
None at all. None at all.
Some directors' MO is to upset people, is to rock the boat, is to cause, you know.
What ended up happening was every night of the show from then on, during that scene, 2,500 people would boo that scene, vociferously boo that scene. And I mean, it's quite funny to be on stage and having 2,500 people booing you and your castmates. They're not booing you and your castmates. They're booing what the director has decided to put in that scene.
23 years ago or so, when I was reading a lot of Irving Welsh, I went to see the play that Irving Welsh did at the West Yorkshire Playhouse.
Yeah, you and I went. Yeah, that start of Act 2. Holy shit!
Now, this brings up the argument, right, that in my opinion, the lady in the audience who is feeling it because she has experienced something akin to that, fair enough, right? But she's not the only person who has to sit there through it. She's not the only person experiencing it. Some of the things that happened in that play, You Will Have Had Your Whole, were revolving around gay rape and things like that. Now, I've never experienced that, but I still found it shocking and horrific and kind of...
It really was. I mean, Act 2...
The train spine, I missed
So we went to see a play at the West Yorkshire Playhouse. Act 2 started with a guy... You know, this is like 30 years ago nearly. 25 years ago. Act 2 started with a guy chained up, being hoisted up in the chains with like this hydraulic thing, being lifted up. He was stark naked, and as he was being lifted up, he turned on the spot because his feet were dangling from the ground. He started turning, and little trigger warning here, folks. But as he turned around, blood came out of his asshole and dripped onto the floor of the set. It was, and everyone in the audience was just like, holy fuck. Now that did have a trigger warning in the program even back then.
So
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I guess if it's got a warning on it, I mean,
but this has been going on for ages. The people who put themselves in position.
I think that's the problem. It's been going on for ages. I think that is the problem.
Is it a problem? I don't understand if
it clearly is to people. It clearly was to 2,500 people who turned up to boo a show every night because of the scene.
I thought this was supposed to be geeked on. I mean, he's right.
Yeah, he's got a point. I'm not sure. I just don't know. It's a bit of a minefield. All I know is how I feel about it. Certain things upset me when I'm watching them, but often that's more bad writing, bad editing, or bad acting than it is things that are actually happening on screen. But as for shock horrors, video nasties, I've seen them all, man. I saw them all when I was a kid. I saw, they were just around all the time. Kind of always felt like it's not my right to tell somebody how to tell their story. It's their problem if people hate it or if people are against it, But maybe that's because I'm privileged, I guess, and I've never really had to be personally affected by it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I do understand that if I was a victim of abuse, sexual abuse or physical abuse, and I had to sit there and watch a play where the same sort of thing was happening, it might rattle me again. But does that mean I've got to correct all the history of visual art?
No, but I do think it mean, I mean, in this show in particular, it was a trigger warning thing, but at the same time, he inserted something that didn't exist into this story. And it's like, well, if you want to shock someone, do it to a man. That would have been way more shocking, and it would have probably given you way more credit from critics and the public and all that. Why did you just choose to have that happen to a woman? The whole point was in this story, a whole sort of village of people were being oppressed. So you could have picked anyone for that to happen to. It didn't have to be just so you can get some boobs out on stage.
It's an interesting topic, but I don't think we have the wherewithal to fix it, because it's not just, it's like the censorship of jokes. Ricky Gervais makes the argument all the time. So does Dave Chappelle. So did Louis C.K. before he fell out of favor for what he did. The argument that just because something's offensive to somebody in the audience doesn't mean you should stop doing it, you know.
No. I mean, Gervais said, didn't he, at the time with that one, it was about the baby thing, wasn't it? He says, you know what you're getting when you come and see me. Simple as that. And people, you know, you do. If you go see Ricky Gervais, you know it's going to be...
Yeah, of course. And I think that's the thing. I think you've got a responsibility with, like, when you've got a large platform, you've got a responsibility. But also, you know, if you're going to be surprised that Ricky Gervais uses the C-bomb in his show, then you're not familiar with any of his work. You know, it's one of the first things he says in Afterlife to that little kid. It's amazing. You know,
I think it's a little bit more than that, though. It's not just the C-bomb that Ricky Gervais is good at. Ricky Gervais...
No, it's the subject matter.
Ricky Gervais has a deliberate provocation attempt there at his audience.
Yeah.
Let's see how far we can push this. But there's something scampish and naughty boy about it with Ricky Gervais. There's a little twinkle in his eye. He knows he's doing it. He doesn't really mean it. It's a fucking joke. He says it time and time again. Now, where I lose it depends on the individual. For some reason, a person's charisma can take them a long way. So I will let Dave Chappelle say whatever the fuck he wants because he's funny as hell. So I let him get away with stuff. Frankie Boyle, as soon as he says anything remotely offensive, which I know he's stopped doing recently because he realised he don't have to do it to be funny, he offends me greatly when I hear him talk. So it just depends on who you like, who you can tolerate, you know.
Really? Does Frankie Boyle offend you? I think he's a terrible comedian. Really? I think he's brilliant.
First thing, all right, there's a geek-related trigger that I agree with Big Timor. I was triggered when Georgian said Greedo shooting first. I'm not warning.
Yeah, I was triggered when he started blinking and stuff.
Come with a warning at the start of the film. Graphic content warning: Greedo fires first.
Have we got any other news lined up this week? It's been a fairly quiet week. I mean, if it wasn't for Chris stalking Indiana Jones, we'd have no news at all.
Yeah, so
I got news.
Go on.
Keep your eyes peeled for next week. Next Monday, Lummy is leaving us for a night. We've had to draft in a sexy replacement.
We brought in a replacement.
Come on.
No, I just didn't realise that we had to. I mean, why do we have to objectify our guest host this week?
Sake, don't you start. Jesus Christ.
Hashtag triggered.
I'll tell her she's
Webb, it looks like you're not here next week because you're going to get cancelled after this.
I don't
yes, we are going to be without Chris Lumb next week, and we've got our lovely guest host Natalie Smeaton joining us.
You fuckers, I'm going to come on live from my gig, you fuckers.
But that was going to be a nice surprise. I mean, what is it with you guys spoiling all these surprises this week? Okay, so ladies and gents, we had a suggestion last week for our best and worst.
It's not news unless Rich reports it.
We had that's not true. You guys always report the news. We had a suggestion last week for our best and worst topic for dystopian movies, and thank you, Big T Moore, I believe, for suggesting that. So, ladies and gents, what are your best and worst dystopian movies? And we are going to find out what ours are shortly. So, we're going to start with Lummy. Lummy, what is your best dystopian movie?
Yours is Pixels because you're going pixelated again.
I can't do anything about that, I'm afraid.
No, just start mentioning it.
Pay your internet bill, you
Right, I picked The Matrix as my best one.
The original Matrix or the trilogy?
No, the original one.
Okay.
I
didn't know that. I hadn't seen you. I did wonder because I hadn't seen you comment on it. I thought,
at the time, I thought obviously it's a groundbreaking one in the special effects department. I must clarify the first one. I thought the sequels were pretty shockingly bad. What happened? I think they made a ton of money, didn't they, with the first one, and then they spent it all on sequels and
probably
just put loads of stuff in it. Like, you know, in the first one, you think they're on their own in that little world. And then in the second one, it kind of opens it out. They go back in the little ship to this giant thing where there's loads of people. Like, I didn't realise it were meant to be like that. You assume that they're on their own. But who knows? But no, it was good. I remember when we watched it at cinema when it came out, you know, working at cinema, and everybody were like, oh my God, what's this? So that's what I based a lot of these best and worst on, you know, how it made you feel at the time. Not really. I've not watched it a lot since, but, you know, I mean, you guys have picked some good ones as well, so.
There was a time where Matrix was one of my favourite films, but it's a rare example of two sequels coming out that are so bad that they make the first film unwatchable for me. I just can't watch it.
I don't know what they're doing with this fourth one as well that's coming out. It's going to be
I reckon something fucking shit and horrible. I can't see it being good. But
are any of the original cast in it?
All of them?
Yeah, I think.
Are they?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've got to admit, it's completely skipped me by that there was a fourth one coming out.
Yeah, it's fourth one. I think they've actually finished production on it. It's due out in a year or two. Lockdown and getting affected it. It was slated for release on HBO Max this year. You remember when HBO decided to release all the films throughout lockdown? Or said they were gonna. It was supposed to be one of the ones coming out there, so there is a release date for it somewhere. But as for where you can see this movie, I have no bloody idea. No bloody idea.
But yeah, not really much. I mean, this had the bullet time thing in it that started all that craze and everything, you know.
Yeah, it did,
I mean, exactly. It did inspire a whole sort of genre of sort of fight scene cinematography as well. It was,
and it's one of those films that Keanu Reeves gets a lot of credit for as well. He often gets slated for being so fucking wooden and not particularly awesome at acting, but in this one, because he put so much effort into learning the special needs, not special needs, what's it called? The special talents that he needs. That's what I was trying to say. So learning jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And he put a lot of time in. And he can actually do that shit in like real life, which is pretty impressive. Have you ever seen that video of him on the firing range at the FBI? A real video of him doing the training shooting range. It's fucking brilliant, guys. Go look for it. Keanu Reeves actually taking the training course and just doing like just going around the course, just getting bullseye after bullseye. It's great.
I was thinking, no, it's because we're going to be doing a retrospective on Police Academy later on, and so I was watching Police Academy 1 yesterday, and it just reminded me of Tackleberry.
Yeah, it's just like that. Pretty much. So, but yeah, it just reminds me of Extras, where the Scottish lady gets
where she said because it's Sam Jackson and
she
says
Samuel Jackson, and he's like,
"You're brilliant in Matrix."
It was you. It's like I think I know what movies I'm in, man. Yeah, it's good,
and he's so cool about it as well, isn't he? That's when Ricky Gervais comes and sticks his foot in it.
But you know, there is something fundamentally cool about the first Matrix film. That whole red and blue pill, you know, down the rabbit hole, changing somebody's life. You know, and I've always loved that idea of downloading things into your brain as a special skill. So having a download of, you've read every book because you've downloaded it, or you know what I mean, you've studied every manual, you know how to fix anything, you can fight, you can shoot, you can do anything, all because it's just, you know, it's quite an interesting concept to me.
Yeah, it would be awesome, wouldn't it, to be able to have that as an ability. What about your worst dystopian film?
Well, I looked through a list of worst ones just to get some inspiration, and this chestnut pops up on it. RoboCop 3.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I went to see this on my birthday when it came out, and I saw this, and I've probably told you this story before. I went to see this and Beverly Hills Cop 3 on the same day.
Fucking hell!
Wow.
Double whammy of disappointment.
Why did you hate yourself so much on that day?
I don't know. Yeah. Luckily, I didn't drag anybody with me to see it.
Oh dear, I can't remember RoboCop 3. Which was the one with the?
No, what was it? So what happens in RoboCop 3?
It's the one with the flying robot, like the ninja robot.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yes.
Crap.
Was the second one the one with that made-up drug that's killing everybody? Yeah. The second one was almost all right. It was almost okay, but yeah.
It's called Cake, wasn't it?
No.
Spice. Spice.
I wanted to say Spice, but that's
it's a brassai. It's a brassai reference.
I wonder what the drug is called, because I thought it was Spice, but that's
Nuke.
Nuke.
Why? That just popped in my head. Nuke. It's called Nuke.
Got it. You got it.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, man.
The second one was directed by Irving Kershner, who did Empire
second Star Wars.
Really? Wow, I didn't realise that. I like the computer game. I like the RoboCop computer game. I enjoyed that. I had that. I think I had it for my Spectrum back in the day.
I think the first RoboCop is still a passable movie. It's Paul Verhoeven, in my opinion, his best movie because everything he's trying to do in all of his movies actually works in RoboCop. RoboCop.
Manager of Liverpool Football Club.
It really works. All the TV segments, the game show they're watching, you know, all the news and the way it's reported, and just the brutality of the future, which is probably RoboCop's probably set in a date we've actually passed now.
I can't remember when it's.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. When RoboCop is set,
it's like late 90s or something.
It's got to be like 2025 or something like that.
I'll have a look while we're looking.
Probably 1995 or something.
Yeah. Well, I remember in Predator 2, I think the distant future, it says LA 2001 or something like that. Yeah, we've been past that.
Like the Back to the Future thing, wasn't it? Number 2 at 2015. You know, it's long gone now.
Long gone. Still no hoverboards.
Oh, okay. We haven't passed RoboCop yet. RoboCop allegedly starts in around November 2043 to February 2044.
Yes, Martin, it was the one with the Japanese corporation and the ninja robot.
And was it all the same, like, original cast, or had they recast?
RoboCop guy is different as well.
Who was it who played RoboCop? I can't remember.
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller.
Okay, so he didn't come back for 3.
No, he came back for 2.
Even he knew it was a bad idea.
Yeah. I always get him confused with Peter Weir, the director. Because that's me. But RoboCop's all right. It's not a bad shout.
I think it's the third film was definitely a bit of a bag of shit. Yeah. And what about you, Webby? What's your favourite dystopian film?
Weirdly enough, I didn't really figure this out, but I didn't realise that dystopia is like one of my favourite genres because it crosses over so many times into other things. So a lot of things I thought were purely sci-fi are actually quantifiable as dystopian stuff. So my favorite is Blade Runner, but I've already talked about that, and I still consider that a bit more of a sci-fi than a dystopian. So what I want to say, I think, is Children and Men. I had a massive list. Honestly, I couldn't pick. I was like, bugger, there's a lot going on here.
Well, you actually nearly called me to say, can I just pick 5 best ones instead of a worst one? I did,
yeah, because I didn't really have a worst one that I could be arsed with, and the top 5 is just really good. But yeah, anyway, back to Children and Men. Children and Men is the story of a society where women can no longer get pregnant. I think there's a period of time elapsed since that happened. It's been about 6 or 7 years since any new babies were born. And all of a sudden, a pregnant woman shows up, a pregnant girl shows up, and Clive Owen is tasked with keeping this woman safe and getting her to a place where she can have a baby in peace so that they can work on starting civilization again. Just a cracking film. If you haven't seen it, guys, give it a go. It's Clive Owen's a weird one for me. He's an actor that never really impressed me with anything, and now he's disappeared. I never see him anymore in anything. However, he's brilliant in this. It's a great role for him. It's British. It's got the right look. There's a bit where they go to the countryside for some respite to visit an old friend of his, and it's Michael Caine, this old pot-smoking professor in this fucking bungalow, and it's just
a long bedraggled hair, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's just totally avoided being brought down by society because he took himself away from it. So yeah, it's a cool film, a couple of good twists and turns in there. I don't want to say too much about it in case I spoil it for somebody, but yeah, great film. But honorable mentions on my list: Dark City, which I thought was a sci-fi, kind of is, great film. Richard O'Brien and Keith Sutherland. And that's a great film. Rufus Sewell, I think, as well, is the main character. And that's set in this world that, it's difficult to explain. Everything is always shifting around in this world. Buildings change shape, things can move. But it's a great little... I watched that at the Odeon. Nobody was when I worked there, nobody was in the cinema. And I just thought, I've got to watch this movie, see what it's like. And I thought it was absolutely great. But yeah, there's What else was on my list? Hang on, I've got a list. Talk amongst yourselves a second.
Best or worst, not 20 bests.
No, I just thought there are a couple of honourable mentions. I didn't want people thinking I'd left some out because I don't have enough time. So I've cut my actual one short.
So you just rather forget them live on...
No, two. There's two more. I would class Blade Runner 24 as one of them. 2049 as for me, I really liked that sequel. Also, District 9, which again, thought was in the sci-fi bracket, but is technically dystopian. That's just a bloody great film. It's funny and great effects. And The Road with Viggo Mortensen and the kid, where they're on the road trying to get somewhere in dystopia. It's quite frightening. And yeah, you tend to find with most of these things, whether it's zombies they're fighting or a monster or something, the worst thing in it is the people that are left over. They're the things you should be worried about. Same with The Walking Dead, and it's always the people that are worse than the zombies, especially in the later series of Walking Dead, where they figure out they can just kill zombies by flicking paper clips at them. And
yeah. Squishing them like that between two fingers.
Yeah, that's it. They just become
the heads of papier-mâché in the latest series.
Yeah, just, massive. Is that because of the deterioration of the human zombie, do you think? Or is it just
because... it is, but they're not that consistent with it, you know. So you do see a knife going into somebody who's turned like 20 minutes ago, going in way too easily into the skull and things like that. I mean, you'd think if you're going to kill somebody who's freshly turned, you've got to go up through there, right? Or in the eye socket or something to get to the brain. But going through the actual hard bone skull with a knife just seems like a stupid idea.
Why chance it? Yeah.
Well, you're going to get your knife stuck as well, right? Get your knife stuck.
Well, I've seen that happen as well, where they've had to actually put the boot on somebody's head to pull the thing out, you know. And it just brings me nicely onto something that I discovered this week. That
we were going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about that later. Yeah.
What, knife crime?
Is that your list of... Okay, cool. So what was your worst dystopian film?
My worst dystopian film, and say what you want about it just doesn't work for me. Clockwork Orange.
I don't get that. I don't get... obviously...
Get the choice, or you don't get...
Yeah, I don't get the choice. I think it's a brilliant film.
I just think, to be honest with you, it's a film I was told was a classic for a long, long, long time. And when I watched it, it was just really dated and really old. And, you know,
do you know that we're going to do a remake, Spielberg and Lucas, with Ewan McGregor in it?
Yes, I did know that. I did know. Why didn't they do it in the end?
Probably
since the Kubrick idea. Do you not like Clockwork Orange either?
I could take it or leave it. I'm not that big. I'm not really bothered about it. I've seen it, obviously. And,
weirdly enough,
think for what it is, at its time, it was, you know, it's got some stuff that's obviously in pop culture on it, you know, the eyeball thing and watching the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's some iconic stuff in it, I guess, but I've never...
But again, there's some really uncomfortable, rapey bits in it as well that sort of set me on edge a little bit. But mainly it's everything else, pretty much everything else that Stanley Kubrick ever made, I'm in with. I like the way he shoots stuff. I like his attention to detail. I like his bastardness. I like the way he upsets everybody he works with by making them film things 350 times. I kind of dig that he had a mission, but for me, this just wasn't. I don't know.
I think when you watch it,
70s, too dated.
It looks like. Do you remember when you used to have like a theatrical production, like a play on TV in the afternoon, or you'd see it at school or something? It reminds me of one of those now. When you kind of look at it with modern eyes, it looks more like a theatrical production that's been filmed than a movie, as it were.
I've got to say, I haven't watched it for years, so I'm not sure. But yeah,
I like Clockwork Orange.
I won't rush to watch it. Put it that way. I won't go. Oh yeah.
No, exactly. I haven't seen it for about 20 years, but I remember really enjoying it. I remember being like, I can see what the fuss is about here. And it made me feel uncomfortable as well. It made me feel very uncomfortable at points.
I couldn't. I remember there were bits of it that were filmed in Leeds as well, down by the Leeds Met.
Oh, really?
It used to be all undergroundy and subway-like. They filmed some of it down there, apparently. Might be wrong, but I'm sure.
That is right by my old high school, where they all used to have, where people used to have fights after school in those subways. because it had the perfect viewing thing from above, because you could stand on the road above and look down into the subway. It was fun times.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of them that doesn't do it for me. It's there's not a likable character in the fucking film, and I struggle with that. I struggle when my protagonist is an arsehole. It's quite difficult for me to get along. So everything else about that film that I'm supposed to like is overshadowed by certain things that I just couldn't get over.
I get that. I'd be a massive hypocrite if I was to pull you up on not being able to get over one bit in a film that ruins it.
I'm actually impressed. I'm actually impressed there is a fucking that you've seen it, first of all, and you liked it. I had no idea.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I really enjoyed it.
We've got if you're not seeing Children of Men, watch it tonight. No, watch it now. Amazing film, especially.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Good shout, Children of Men.
Well, not now. Wait till the show's finished, guys, and then watch it. Watch our show first, and then watch that.
We've got some more. People have said the best and worst. We'll come back to them, obviously. Okay,
well, I'm going to go for my best. My best dystopian film is, and this was a difficult one because there are so many brilliant films out there, but I decided to go for Idiocracy because I feel like we are living in this film right now. Now, you can look at this in many different ways, you know, like, okay, it's a Mike Judge film. It was released in 2006. 20th Century Fox, cost between £2 and £4 million to make, but only took $495,000 at box office, which wasn't the film's fault because 20th Century Fox had purposefully suppressed the film. They sent it to a handful of cinemas on opening weekend, and they'd done no publicity for it. There were no show posters. They sent out no promo material to any cinemas. And the belief is because of the amount of Fox sort of supporting companies that it was taking the piss out of Costco, Starbucks, Fox News, all these different sort of contributors. And I feel like although Mike Judge has made a sort of disdain of knowledge, the reason for the world falling apart in, I think, was it 2505? Yeah, 2505. I think it's, I think the way we've got a pseudo-intellectualism these days, and I think that's probably worse than the world that Mike Judge had created, because I think there's an honesty about admitting that you're unintelligent and saying that intelligence is for idiots and books are for idiots. I think there's a real honesty about that. But pretending that you know the answers to everything and twisting points to suit your agenda, which is why you've got cancel culture and pylon culture and all these different things, because people pretend to care about a lot of different things. So I think that's a lot more dangerous than what Mike Judge had created. But I do feel, you know, look at Trump being elected. I mean, they've got a professional wrestler being president, Dwayne Elizondo, Mountain Dew, Herbert Camacho. You know, it just paints this world of pure stupidity, and where he has been trying.
I beg, baby. I beg. I beg, baby. I beg. I heard my name.
Oh dear.
You know, so basically, yeah, the main guy is a guy called Joe Bowers who has been frozen in stasis and comes out in the year 2056, and he's been frozen because he is an average human being, and when he comes out, he's the most intelligent person on the planet. You know, and he teaches people. It's gone.
It's important what you just said about the level of intelligence these days, because quite often, believe it or not, you guys know me, I never claim to be intelligent, but when I'm in a room with a group of people, I come across as one of the most intelligent people there, and I've no idea why, other than everybody else is a bit stupider than me. You know what I mean? And
no, I think the answer is exactly what I've just said, man, is that you're not a pseudo-intellectual. You're really, really honest. That's why you do so well on this show, because you have a voice that everybody else can really relate to, because you're really, really honest. You're not trying to impress anybody. And I think that's the difference between that and pseudo-intellectualism, which is everybody's got an answer for everything on Twitter and social media and all that, you know, and I think there is a crossover, you know, where Mike Judge saw this world where politics, where somebody come up with a point and the other one would be like, well, that's rubbish because you're a dick, you know, that kind of, you know, base argument point of view. So there are some crossovers.
I get it. I'm not.
Oh, Big T, please watch it. It's a brilliant film. It's
Big
really
T.
good.
Now, this brings me to something about Idiocracy that I've always wanted to know, and I wonder if you come across it in any of your research, Rich. Who stole off who? Did Futurama come before Idiocracy, or did Idiocracy come before
Futurama came way before it. Idiocracy was released in 2006, and Futurama was around pre the millennium. So
right, it's basically the same idea.
Pizza delivery boy wakes up in the future. He's a stupid guy, but everyone around him is just exactly. Yeah.
I just wondered if they've ever like tried to sue each other over that shit. But no, it's an interesting one. Like, intelligence is pretty much like, you know, depending on where you live in. I reckon if we lived in America, we could possibly be the president of America.
Well, you'd have to be born there. You have to be born there to become the president of America.
Well, but I'm pretty much certain I could beat Donald Trump in most
fight.
Maybe not a fight. He might crush me in a fight, but in any kind of.
I'm ready to go whenever you are, big boy.
Bring it on, Trump.
Come on.
Bring it on. What's 12 times 4?
12 first. I don't have to answer that. If I do give you an answer, though, it'll be the best answer. It'll be the best answer I could give you. But I'm
Trump,
not going to do it.
I never thought of that. You're right. You win.
Yeah, I win. Okay. God bless me. God bless me. God bless me.
So Big T, please give Idiocracy a go. It's just a brilliant film. It's almost it feels like a comic book film. It feels like a comic book film as well in the way that has been filmed. It
definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, and it really pushes that idiot envelope as far as it can, man.
Is that right?
It's Terry Crews. That might be actually. Yeah,
I can't remember.
Incidentally, I've just fact-checked my own self on Clockwork Orange being filmed in Leeds, and it's been debated for a while, but people who went to Leeds University in the 70s remember it being filmed there. But where the confusion came from is there's a bar at Leeds Uni called the Milk Bar. They thought it was named after Clockwork Orange. It was never named after it was named after Harvey Milk, the gay political guy, Harvey Milk, the guy from America who, you know,
invented milk. Yeah, exactly.
And trailblazed gay rights by becoming a politician. Film, Sean Penn, great film.
Yeah, it was Terry Crews. Terry Crews did play the president in Idiocracy.
I've just finished watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
I love it. It's great. Terry Crews, though.
Terry Crews is in it.
Sorry, I didn't realise that. I didn't realise he was in it. I just thought it was just like, oh, brilliant.
No, I'll get back.
I went shopping today.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I will get round to it. A few people have recommended it to me, but I've seen the first episode and I wasn't in the mood for it at the time.
Give it a chance.
I'll give it a fair whirl.
But going back to Idiocracy, I normally use, and I'm going to in my next film, budget spent versus takings at the box office. I normally use that as a stick to beat the filmmakers with, but I just think with the fact that Fox suppressed a lot of the all of the advertising, and just suppressed the shit out of this film and its theatrical release. I think that obviously explains all of that, because it's actually more than made that much. It's taken like 200 million in VHS and DVD sales. So, you know, I think that shows that it's a pretty good film, and it just feels fairly prophetic as well for where we are now. And my worst one is going to be Waterworld. Wow. Now, I saw this when I was working at the Odeon as well. I got to see this film way too many times. So, the thing about Waterworld, released in 1995, cost $175 million to make, which was, incidentally, $170 million more than they originally thought they could make it for. They thought that when it was originally written, the writer thought it could be made for $5 million as a film. But the actual the main base, floating base that they had in the film, they thought they could make for $1 million, and that cost them over $5 million in itself.
Is it a Monty Python thing? Like they built the first set, that one sank, so they had to
well, actually, it's funny
that one fell over, burnt down.
It's funny you should say that, because the location they picked is famous for tornadoes and hurricanes coming through. So they had a set amount of time where they were supposed to film this film. Obviously, insurance purposes, the insurance on the film alone is going to be huge. You've got a lot of people filming underwater, on water. I mean, the scope for accidents on this film is huge. And
in Hawaii, or near Hawaii.
It was filmed near Hawaii, exactly that, yeah. So they ended up having to spend too long filming it, and it ended up tipping into hurricane season, and that base that cost $5 million ended up just getting blown to shit. And then it took them another 3 months to rebuild it with the bits that they found floating around the location that they were shooting. It was just an absolute shit show. That, coupled with the fact that Kevin Costner and John Davis, the producers, kept falling out during it. They worked together an awful lot. They worked together on Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. They'd fallen out on Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Director Kevin Reynolds, who directed Prince of Thieves as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so they all worked together before, but John Davis and Kevin Costner, they kept falling out. Just creating differences. The reason they fell out during Prince of Thieves is because Kevin Costner was pissed off that he wasn't getting as much screen time as, who do you think?
Rickman.
Mm-hmm. He was just really upset that Rickman was getting so much screen time. So him and John Davis had a huge fallout. John Davis left Prince of Thieves, and the same thing happened in this as well, where they just went in a bit of a creative sort of different direction. And John Davis had to leave them.
Do you know the other week when we were talking about actors that you think have been around for a lot longer than they have?
Kevin Costner's one of them.
No, Morgan Freeman. This was Morgan Freeman's movie. He was in loads before, but nobody ever gave a shit. And then he was in this, and then he became big from this.
What?
Yeah,
Morgan Freeman. Yeah. That's true. I'm sure it's true.
Hang on.
He's not in this.
I don't think he is in this, to be honest.
Morgan Freeman, he plays Salah in Robin Hood. He plays the
we're talking about Waterworld.
No, I was talking about Robin Hood. I was talking about Robin Hood.
Well, so I was like, wait, hang on, what?
And I'll tell you another random fact that I'll pull out of my butt for this, and this is, I'm pretty much sure it's true. Recently,
Morgan Freeman being in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves isn't a random fact. It's pretty fucking obvious.
No, not that. The fact that was his first movie, his first big movie, his first big role, or the one that broke him into superstardom, and then he got Shawshank and stuff like that. Anyway, the other one is the line that is most quoted from Waterworld is not in the film, and it's Jim Carrey's fault, as it is for most of these things that are misquoted.
Cable Guy,
or Ace Ventura, whenever he does a voice.
I've watched the film 5 times.
When he goes, dry land is not a myth, I've seen it. It's apparently slightly different, but that's Jim Carrey all over. He does it all the time. He misquotes these lines, and they become more famous than the line itself.
Same, he did it with Star Trek as well.
Yeah, he did it with Star Trek. Yeah, he's done it with a few films. They end up more famous than the actual quote.
But the thing I will say about Waterworld, you'll never see another film like this made ever again, because it was at that time where special effects and CGI were really becoming a thing, and they chose not to use any at all. It's pretty much all live action. Which is a huge feat, but I just thought it was a big disaster. I didn't enjoy the film. It cost a huge amount of money.
To say how much it costs as well, it doesn't have to look cheap.
It does. Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's supposed to be thrown together from scraps they've found, but the fact that the bad guys are all smoking and all these pristine cigarettes. It's like, where have you got all them from? Everything.
Well, they are some of the differences. So Kevin Costner wanted that sort of stuff, and John Davis didn't. It was... Kevin Costner sounds like a bit of a jerk to work with, to be honest. From doing my research on Waterworld this week, obviously it tips into other films as well, Dances with Wolves, and
so now you've said that.
That's kind of.
I tell you what, he's been in some pretty big flops as well. He was in The Postman, wasn't he? Which they thought was going to do really well, and he didn't.
I remember not minding that when I saw it first. I
don't think I saw it.
Yeah.
But
that was another film I saw whilst working at the Odeon as well.
I mean, Dances with Wolves, Field of Dreams,
Yeah.
done some good stuff.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams, I think, is the best one he's done. You know, it's
Robin Hood's dated as fuck now as well. If you watch that back,
the anniversary, I still like it, but
I like it.
I like it because of Rickman. That's it, pretty much. You know, he's great in it. He's just perfectly hammy, perfectly
Have I told you
cast
guys
that
about
bad
the documentary about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves that's narrated by Pierce Brosnan?
Is it?
Right. It's on YouTube, this documentary. I found it the other day again. You need to go watch it. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Pierce Brosnan, right? he comes on and he's so over the top. The director's obviously gone, you know, big it up, big Robin Hood up. You know, we want to sell this movie. It's like one of them behind the scenes things that comes out when they're trying to get publicity for the film, you know. And he comes on, but it's so over the top. His performance, it's hilarious, and it's what I based my Pierce Brosnan impression on.
Is it a bit tapping?
It's better than tapping, honestly. It's called Robin Hood, the Man, the Myth, the Legend, right? The making of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I'll find the link and put it in on the thing, but it's so funny. It comes on and he goes, Robin Hood, who was he? Who was this man? This myth? This legend? Tonight, we're gonna find out. It's like that. It's amazing. It's the funniest thing I have ever seen. It's the best. It's the best making of documentary ever.
Oh,
That's the other reason they fell out. Davis and Costner on Robin Hood Prince of Thieves is because Costner was insisting on doing an English accent, and Davis was just like, "Don't don't stop it." And he's like, "I'm going to do it." It's just really weird. It's a really weird. What was the other film recently? Kevin Costner. Was he tried an Irish accent? Was it Kevin Costner?
Oh, I don't know.
I've seen Kevin Costner in a movie for fucking years. Again, another one of those guys that's sort of...
Did you see the one with him and I think it was a TV movie with him and who was it? What's he called? Lost his name. It was about the Bonnie and Clyde.
I'm having a little Google. Let's have a Google.
Something.
Tell a lie. I've set
Highwayman.
Oh, okay.
Hang on.
Okay, last thing I saw Kevin Costner.
Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson.
Last thing I saw him in was bloody Justice League. Superman's dad. Not his real dad, his adopted dad. Yeah. Which is, you know, technically.
We could have saved. But...
And he's in Yellowstone, which is a big series. It's doing pretty well. Yeah.
So, do any of our community have any of them listed their best and worst for us, Lonnie?
So it wasn't Costner in 20s gangster movie. Well, he was in thingies, wasn't he? What do you call it? Capone. What's he called? Untouchables.
Untouchables, yeah.
With Connery.
Yeah.
Send one of them to the morgue. You know.
Yeah, I know which one you mean.
That bit, you know. What else we got? Kevin Costner's good in Draft Day, good movie about American football. Also good in 3,000 Miles to Graceland. Arrow Video released Waterworld, the Ulysses cut, supposed to make the film better. Notice to check it out. Wow.
Yeah. Skeptical.
Apparently, so there is a the film was 2 hours 45 minutes long, and the studio wanted it to come in at 2 hours and 15, and they were like, we can't do this. And when they did it, it just cut out all of the story and just made it one huge action movie for 2 hours and 15, which is what we saw. But then a fan made version came out online, which made it 3 hours 20, and it had all of the deleted scenes in it. And then they released, I think about 5 years ago or 10 years ago, they released a special of it, which was the full unedited director's cut, and it's almost exactly the same as the fan-made version or the fan-edited version.
They've still got a Universal Studios stunt show as well of Waterworld, believe it or not.
Fucking hell.
Trying to get that money back. Remember the Simpsons episode with the video game on it? where he's putting all money in all quarters, and it just goes deep, 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 releasing certain more coins. It's like, game over. He has to. What else we got here? Worst human bureau, Nick Cage. Battlefield Earth,
definitely.
Oh, what's that sucky one that Will Smith did with his kid as well? That's a terrible one. After Earth or something like that. Yeah. Honorable mention, okay. Dark City, Demolition Man.
Do you know what? I miss Rutger Hauer. I used to love Rutger Hauer and Kevin Busey as well. Is it Kevin Busey? Gary Busey. Oh, just really good B-movie actors.
Dystopian movies, not sure what to choose from. My favourite genres, so many good ones. Dark City, Dread, Blade Runner, Matrix, Escape from New York.
Yeah, Dread was awesome.
Yeah, all really good.
Max, 984 T2. Yeah, T2, dystopian movies don't like. Independence Day 2. I've not seen that. Has anybody seen it?
I haven't seen it either. No, I haven't.
It was fucking shit.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, want a good one.
Right.
Yeah, no, there are quite a few. I nearly picked the Planet of the Apes series of films because I've never enjoed any of the Planet of the Apes.
On another show,
that's exactly, that's why I decided to go for Waterworld instead. Okay, well, thank you very much for your best and worst suggestions, everybody. If you've got a suggestion for another best and worst category, because this came courtesy of our good buddy Big T Moore. So if any of you have got any other categories, it could be a franchise of computer games or a games console or a genre of games, or it could be a period of films like sort of 80s to the 90s, whatever you want, feel free to let us know either down below or during the week, and we will endeavor to cover your topic. Now, Nathan recommended a show to me this week, and I went and accidentally watched the whole 2 seasons. Black Summer on Netflix. Webby, why did you recommend this to me? Because it's beside the fact that it's brilliant.
Because you're a zombie bummer. You love zombies. You're a bit zombie obsessed. And when I watched it, I thought it made Walking Dead look pathetic, to be honest.
It made everything. That first episode of The Walking Dead, that first season, is still brilliant.
It reminded me that Walking Dead is a great concept and an excellent comic book, and the original first few series were all right, but this feels like it's happened. This feels like it's happening. It feels like it's current. It feels like they're making choices that basically you got a bunch of humans running around panicking, and as they're running around,
it's exactly as the zombie apocalypse has sort of happened. So people are making mistakes. Nobody's got survival skills.
Yeah, they're literally running past weapons. They're not figured out how to kill the zombies yet. So if one of them is lucky enough to pick up a gun, they don't think to shoot it in the head. It's strange things like that you all the way through it. You're going, why did you? What you did? But then you remind yourself that this is happening to these people, and they're actually. It's just something believable about it. Weirdly, it's quite naturalistic.
And it's broken down into these vignettes, isn't it?
Dead easy to watch, man. I mean, literally every show is broken up into little segments. It's brilliant, really, really good. Also, it's one of those. It's one of those shows where one scene will happen and you'll see somebody in the background running past, and in the next scene you get the story of who that was running past. You know what I mean? You'll see somebody getting killed and turned into a zombie that then appears again in another segment later on. I was so impressed with this show. Season 2 was beautifully done. Really beautifully done. Total change of pace from the first one. They've learned a little bit more about the climate they're in and the zombies and where they've got ahead. Just something. Second season's kind of set in a snowy environment, and it's just great.
With a bit more budget as well.
Yeah, the camera takes its time to so I can't explain it really, but you'll be looking at a little piece of a snowy forest, and something happens in that forest, and then that stops happening, but the camera lingers there for a bit, and you see this forest in the quiet. It's just, I don't know, just clever. Conceptually amazing. I really liked it. Excellent show, guys. Check it out if you like
some phenomenal performances in there as well.
I've never seen a show where there are literally entire episodes of the show where nobody speaks. There's no dialogue at all because they're trying to be quiet because they don't want to get eaten by zombies. It's really cool.
It feels like as well, because these vignettes are so short, bite-sized, digestible vignettes that cover an element of a storyline. It feels like you're playing a computer game. It feels like you're doing different missions within a computer game when you're watching it, and it's just really enjoyable. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, most zombie games start out and you've got a full arsenal of stuff, haven't you? The occasional game, you'll get a game occasionally. You've got to start from the ground up, and you pick up the first weapon you pick up is this hammer or a fire axe or something like that.
Or a bit of wood.
I find those much more believable. Not always as fun as shooting zombies, but there was just something unique about this. Check it out. It's on Netflix. If you got Netflix, there's 2 series. Second series landed a couple of weeks ago. My brother recommended it to me. I must say that's why I told you about it, Gittins. But in this day and age, it's getting harder and harder to recommend stuff to each other because you're like, I don't know, things are just different. You don't want to waste your time. Time's precious. Got to be the right thing. This is a good shout if you like horror and if you like a bit of zombies. Cool.
The suspense as well, it really does. Some scenes really do have you right on the edge of the seat. I mean, totally. I've seen so many different zombie films and series and things like that, but there were times during this when I was like, oh no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Oh, you done back. And I had me really vocalizing my feelings at the TV and the characters on it. It was brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Yeah,
really clever. A couple of things that make it unique is that once you get bitten by a zombie in this world, you're a zombie within like 30 seconds. It's that quick. And all the zombies want is to eat you. And they run really fast. They don't stop coming. They're like Terminators. If you don't get that headshot or you don't sever the spinal cord, you're fucked.
They're like the rage zombies in 28 Days Later or something
they are.
Like that.
They are. But also there's little twists to it. Like they've got really, a bit like myself, they've got pretty crap attention spans. So if you make a lot of noise and run into a building, they will stand outside that building, banging on the door, going, for like 5 minutes. But then they kind of forget and they get distracted and they wander off. So, yeah, it's really, really cool. First series is great, and second series was better, even better.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it as well.
If you like zombie series, watch Kingdom, which is on Netflix. It's a period piece setting all the zombies happen.
Oh, okay.
Cool. All right. Cheers, Martin. I'll give that a go later on. Brilliant. Thank you very much. There's a Korean actress in this, actually, and she's amazing. She doesn't speak English and pretty much in the whole thing. And she is probably my favorite character and actress in the whole
She was great. She was great. And what was really good about it is it's a slight spoiler because I'm going to say that, okay, by the time season 2 rolls around, it's not one of those instances where somebody in a TV show or film can all of a sudden speak perfect English. In the second series, she still doesn't know any English. It was really cool.
Brilliant. Yeah. And it's ballsy because they'll let her give a 3-minute monologue in Korean.
Mm-hmm.
And you just and it doesn't give subtitles underneath. It just says speaks Korean.
Oh man, guys, if any of you out there can speak Korean and you're watching it, let us know what she was talking about.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
There's a lot to say, but I'd really like to know what she was saying. But I even put the Netflix subtitles on and it didn't tell you.
No, just says speaks Korean.
Yeah,
so Black Summer, give it a go. And thanks for the recommendation there, Martin. So this week, and we haven't mentioned it at all, but just thought we'd throw Lummy a little bone this week because it's a special boy's birthday this week, Lummy, wasn't it?
Well, it was on Thursday, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it's your little birthday. Happy birthday, Lummy. Did you have a good one? What did you do? You didn't have a good one, did you? What's up? What's up?
All right, it's fine.
How old are you, big guy?
I'm not telling you. It's too different.
I think I know. Yeah, figure it out by your grumpiness. That was like a 44-year-old's grumpiness. That.
Oh man!
Oh man! Did you get any nice presents, buddy?
Well, because it's Terry's birthday on the 15th, she decided to see if we wanted to club together. So we did.
15th of what? June.
Hers is 15th of June, mine's 24th of June. So we thought, let's meet in the middle, join forces with the present giving.
So what did you do?
Guess what we
So what did you both decide to buy for you, Lummy?
No, we both agreed on the purchase. It was let's say it was an investment.
Oh God!
What do you think we bought? Come on.
I don't know, cinema vouchers? Because you haven't got enough of them.
I'm going to guess maybe Lego Ecto 1.
No, Ecto 1. But you're right with the Lego. Come on, what's the big stuff that's come out?
You didn't get the Lego Ecto 1?
No.
I can't think of anything. You got
It's come out
Spider-Man. Did
recently.
you get Daily Bugle?
No. Some of that she'd like as well. It wasn't like...
Oh, Jesus. Oh, the Friends set.
There you go.
Nice.
The apartment thing, we got that.
Cool. So
Lovely.
not Central Perk, you got the apartment.
We already had the Central Perk. We had that ages ago when it first came out. So.
Oh, I really hope you enjoy not building that, mate.
No, we started building it. This is
Ooh.
we started building it. But I finished. We said we'd build an apartment each and then put them together, right?
Yeah.
So we started building them the other night, but I finished really quick and Terry Slump finished.
Same
So
old
who
story.
got whose apartment? Did you?
Story of his life.
Yeah, I finished straight away.
And Terry's still going. What? So who got? Did you get Chandler and Joey's apartment?
I built
boys' apartment.
I built the boys' apartment.
Is that a bigger apartment than the girls' one in the Lego?
No, it looks like the girls is the bigger apartment.
It is in the show as well, isn't it? Because that's why they
Yeah.
want their apartment. It's slightly better than the.
No, that's what I was wondering. Sorry, I didn't mean bigger. I meant smaller. Yeah, is it the same as in the TV show? So basically, you took the least amount of work.
Does that mean you got to build the corridor? Do you get to build the corridor as
I
well?
built the corridor bit as well.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Well, as our birthday present to Lummy, we decided to do a retrospective this week of Lummy's favourite movie franchises. We decided we would have a look at all 7 Police Academy films. Just
Only
for
7?
Lummy. Just for Lummy.
Why did they stop at 7? Unbelievable.
Police Academy, a fantastic series of films, particularly the first 4, with wonderful actors like Steve Guttenberg in it. So, gentlemen, talk to me about Police Academy.
Well, should we start? Let's start with number 1.
Hang on, let's start with the reboot. Why is this not being rebooted yet? They're missing a trick here,
they're trying to out there. They're trying to do one, but
I get Guttenberg to come back as the captain this time, and he's got to put up with all the divvies trying to get through the.
Okay, so Police Academy came out not long after Porky's, and they did want originally for Police Academy to be as sort of risque as Porky's was, and then the director came along and watered it down. It was inspired by, I think it was the writer or director had been on a shoot and a bus turned up with this ramshackle bunch of police cadets, got off it, and he turned around to like the captain and went, "These don't look like regular police officers." And the captain was like, "No, we get more money for more recruits that we get, but we just make sure they're gone within 3 weeks." And he was like, "Boom, that's my idea." And he went away and he wrote the first Police Academy.
There you go.
It's a brilliant film, and it still stands up. Apart from the homophobic f-bombs in it quite a lot, it stands up quite well, actually.
It's interesting as well that you say kind of going down the Porky's route, because these films I think they actually hit the children's market a bit with these films as they went along.
Yeah,
because you can tell because in the first one it's quite a bit, like you say, it's a bit risque.
Well, it's that shot as it comes down the side of the dorms, and it's just all these shots of women's arses in the shower rooms and things like that. And then it comes down to Mahoney, and he's got a beer, and he's just watching the women in the showers, all getting changed. And it's pretty obvious, isn't it? But that was the watered down version.
I think as it went on as well, I don't know if this is right, but it seemed to get more cartoonish.
It did. If you watch Mission to Moscow, the sound effects to that are insane. It's all clangs and doings, and it's just really weird. I mean, it was, and also when you, I mean, obviously we'll get to that in a minute, but that was released like 5 years after the 6th one. City Under Siege was the 6th one. Yeah.
I mean, I'd really like to see a version of Police Academy where they had to like go to the World Trade Center or something after 9/11 and clear up, and there's a bunch of just idiots among people that are trying to do something good for humanity, and they're just cocking about with boob jokes and fart jokes. I don't know what.
But it's not like that. Police Academy 1 isn't like that at all.
From what I remember, Police Academy 1 is the most passable of all of them, and it's actually not a bad film at all. but what the sequelization, this movie, something about this franchise is cancer to the actors. It just ruins.
Do you think?
Dude, coming anywhere near this fucking movie. Name me 3 other movies that Michael Winslow was in.
Spaceballs.
That's one.
Hang on.
Now, I'm sure you could.
Okay, but I can tell. All right. Okay, but look what it did with Guttenberg. With Police Academy, he did things like Cocoon. He did 3 Men and a Baby, 3 Men and a Little Lady. He did. There was loads of between 1980 and 1990. Steve Guttenberg filmed more films than anybody else in Hollywood. Him and So it was a mafia film. Dustin Hoffman. They filmed more films than anyone else between those 10 years.
But what does that prove?
Well, it just meant that at that time he was working prolifically as an actor, and then he took a break away. Was this Steve Guttenberg's first film?
No.
Police Academy?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't his first film. But
did he do Short Circuit before this? Maybe not.
I think Short Circuit was before, but then he did Cocoon afterwards.
Yeah.
And 3 Men and a Baby, 3 Men and a Little Lady as well were after it. Both huge films.
He did. I did. It was in Boys from Brazil as well. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
He's only in the start of it, but he did it before this. Police Academy was 1984.
The first Police Academy was 1984.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they did one every single year. So it was 84, 85, 86, 87, 88.
Yeah.
89. Then the next one was 94. He did 4. He did the 4 good ones.
So he left, and then he went on to do 3 Men and a Baby and stuff like that. I did Short Circuit in between 3rd and 4th one. Cocoon in between 2nd and 3rd one. So he did a decent movie in between, you know.
But you're right. You're right. There were a lot of bit. So Steve Guttenberg, he went and did a lot of theatre. He wanted to spend more time with his family and things like that. He kind of shunned the Hollywood lifestyle for a little bit.
So he did a Rick Moranis, made loads of money. Yeah, okay.
A little bit, and then
Kim Cattrall was in.
Kim Cattrall. Yeah, she was.
And Sharon Stone was in the 4th one. Believe it or not, first film she did.
Which one's the police officer that can't contain her boobs in a uniform, and they're always staring at her boobs?
So that's Callahan. So that's Leslie. I can't remember her surname. Yeah, Leslie Eastbrook. She's still knocking around doing Easterbrook. Sorry, yeah. So she's still doing all the conventions now. In fact, they're actually a really cool family. When you see them reunited and surprise each other, they're always so delighted to see each other. It's really quite charming to see. It's lovely.
I always thought these films were kind of the US version of the Carry On movies that we have, you know.
Yeah,
I get that.
I always kind of watched them in that kind of, realm. So.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I believe that. I mean, there was a time I used to love these movies. I adored them. I'd watch the first 4 whenever I could. But I haven't seen any of them since I was probably 13 last time I tried to.
You've always got the same theme. You've got the bumbling Commandant Lassard, who kind of looks after these recruits, Mahoney and Jones and Hightower.
He was my favourite character.
Me too. He's very, very sort of Leslie Nielsen
very, very good at being a
bumbling,
older man. Yeah, and a bit where he gets his knob sucked by the lady hiding underneath the lectern.
But the brilliant thing is but he thinks it's Mahoney that's done it. That's the thing, because Mahoney sticks his head out, and then at the end, Mahoney gives his speech, and suddenly you just hear this zip, and there's just this look from Lassard, and it's like, you're not as dumb as you make out. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then you've got Captain Harris, Sergeant Harris, isn't it?
He gets to be Captain Harris later. I think
that's right. Yeah.
Who was the guy who was it Proctor? I've got Proctor in my head.
Proctor is so it's Harris and Proctor.
Yeah. He was the guy who was always sucking up to Captain Harris, right?
So Proctor doesn't come into the second one, does he? Because in the first one, it's 2 recruits. Now, this is quite interesting. So the 2 recruits that are Captain Harris's sort of favourites, that he gets them to try and the guys who end up in the Blue Oyster.
Yeah.
Well, if you notice, when they start in that film, if you watch the introduction, the intro to the film, they turn up to the police academy and they've both got quite badly fitting wigs. And then the next scene is they go and get their head shaved. They'd filmed the scenes out of order.
Yeah.
So they had to give them wigs for them to arrive. Otherwise, that joke wasn't going to work.
Big Team always mentioned this, obviously. Zed and Sweet Chuck as well.
So Zed and Sweet Chuck, but they weren't in the first one.
No, they were in the second one that started in.
Zed is the bad guy in the second one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Sweet Chuck, obviously.
So now I can't remember because there was a guy in Police Academy 1. It's quite funny. He's clumsy. He bumps into everything. It's the one whose wife is on the bonnet of the car because she doesn't want him to leave. Fackler. Now, he doesn't come back in the second one, does he? He's replaced by Sweet Chuck.
He's in, hang on. I can't remember which ones he's in. He's in the Mission to Moscow, of all things. But I think he's in number 6 as well.
Okay.
What's number 6 all about?
So that's City Under Siege.
That's about this guy called Mr. Big who's like taking over the city. It's not,
Okay.
Look. Let's. I mean, look. Can we all agree? Well, Webby probably can't, but Lummy, can we agree that Police Academies 1 to 4 are excellent, and then 5 is all right?
I love it. I love number 5, Assignment Miami Beach.
What is it about 5 that you really like?
I just like it. I don't know, but he hasn't even got Guttenberg in. Hang on,
you've got no Guttenberg.
Let's get these posters up. Let's just look at the posters first of all. Here you go. Police Academy 1. Police Academy 2.
The first assignment.
3
back in training.
I mean these posters by Drew Struzan are brilliant, by the way.
They are. I have to argue as well.
They are awesome posters. This is my favourite. Citizens on Patrol.
Is that Eugene Levy at the bottom of number 3?
Hang on.
Did he make it into one? Who's that? It looks like Eugene Levy.
That's Captain Mauser. That he was in.
With
the eyebrows.
Yeah.
He goes in the shower and he.
Now it's been that long since I saw these movies that I reckon if I watched them again, I would get most of the adult stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? Back then, I didn't know who was a drug dealer, or who was a bad guy, or why. What was a prostitute? Or I didn't know any of this stuff, so maybe I should watch them and.
I mean, that's your number 6. This is where it started going a bit. And then
number 7 was just bad. It's bad, man.
It's as if they lost the.
It's a kids' film. It's a kids' film. The 5th one is, and also the 7th one, and also there's a bit like. Okay, look, they're far-fetched, and you accept that they're far-fetched. It's the nature of slapstick comedy. But in the 7th one, there's a bit where Jones goes to hack into a safe or like a secure door, and he just goes up with his hand, and he goes, but because he makes the noises with his mouth, the door opens. And it's just like, oh, and it's just little things like that. So the 7th one is about them. It's about some spyware in a game that's really addictive, and then Tetris, it infects all your computers like Tetris. But they're playing on a Game Boy. Yeah, it is. He's the bad guy. Yeah, and they're playing on a Game Boy, but the Game Boy's got no cartridge in it when they're playing on it. Ron Perlman.
Oh right, okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear that. Ron Perlman, right? Fair enough. Yeah.
It got so bad that they didn't even put the 7 on that title. They just call it Police Academy Mission to Moscow.
Can't believe this was. Claire Forlani's in it as well.
This was supposed to be the relaunch of the Police Academy film. So this was 1994, I think, Mission to Moscow. So that's like 5 years after the first film, the last film came out after City Under Siege.
You know what bugs me the most about it though, right, is they didn't even have to try that hard to make it as good as the first one. Just a few good jokes, but what they're missing is clearly Guttenberg tying it all together, because the film for me works because Guttenberg's sort of you in it. He's watching all this buffoonery going on and he's getting involved and causing a bit of.
But he's also the cheeky chappy, isn't he? He's the one, he is that, I
mean, it definitely went downhill. But I still think the 5th one is okay. I've got to say that. Even if you lose, don't forget, you don't only lose Mahoney, Guttenberg out of that. You lose Sweet Chuck and Zed as well.
Yeah, that's true.
The 4th one, and they were, they're in that 4th one. They're really good. Well, 3rd one's well.
It's amazing. So for me, the 4th one, Citizens on Patrol, that is my favourite of all of the Police Academies. It's the one I watched the most as a kid, and
here's one for you. That was the only one they originally brought a soundtrack out for, a CD and a
really,
vinyl.
really.
Yeah. But then
remember that.
So that's got the Citizens on Patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
I think that's probably why I liked it, actually.
David Spade as a skateboarder in it. You know David Spade, don't you, from Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
He does a good talk show, you know, on YouTube.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen a few. It's pretty good.
No, I like it. So, do you know how Hooks? Why she chose that voice for Hooks?
No.
What's her name? Marion. I know she sadly passed
Ramsey.
away earlier this year.
Ramsey,
Marion Ramsey. Sadly passed away this year. So she had been doing a production of Little Shop of Horrors, and Michael Jackson had come to see the production. And she had this audition a few days later, and they'd said that it's a real quiet, scared of her own shadow. So she chose to take Michael Jackson's voice for the character. And the guy playing Hightower is an American football player who this was Bubba Smith. This is one of his first films, and it was his idea to be the florist. So for this big muscly black guy to be like this. Yeah, that was all his idea.
But that's the thing, innit? It's an ensemble of characters.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
and I think that's why it does work. You know, they're all, and maybe after fourth when they did it does break up the group a bit, doesn't it? It's.
Well, in the first one, what's the Lothario guy who pretends to be Hispanic?
Yeah, there's a few characters who never are in it again. There's him,
but his character is way too similar to Mahoney, so it's obvious that you write that character out.
Andrew Rubin, who's called as George Martin.
Yes, George Martin. That's it, because he was George Martin.
And you've got the chunky guy as well, Leslie Barbara, and he's never in it again.
Oh, is Barbara not in it? Oh, okay.
And they've got some really derogatory name like Chubbs or Fatso.
It's Leslie. It's Leslie Barbara. That is it.
They throw him over at bridge, don't they? He's in that.
In the photo Kodak thing, and he floats. Yeah.
But he was never in it again. And you think, oh, that's interesting.
Because that's a really good thing during the riot. It's where you see those guys who threw them over, that gang in their big sort of 4x4 thing. He sees them coming out of this building with TVs and stereos and things like that, and he's like, okay, you guys need to go back in there. And they kind of walk up to him and intimidate him, and he puts his gun back and he's like, oh, okay. And they're like, just get out of here, fatso. And he's like, no. And he gets out his nightstick and kicks the shit out of them with this nightstick, like kind of half accidentally, but it's half kind of muscle reaction, muscle memory. And then he's like, right, now put all that stuff back in there. And they're like, but this is our stuff. We're moving house. And it's like, oh, good. I was like, yeah, it's a nice bit. I like that. It's great.
It's interesting that they didn't have him back him. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I was surprised they didn't have him
back. I bet he was thinking when they announced the second one, he's going to get some more of that Police Academy money. Here we go. What? I'm not in it. They've also got in number 2, you've got Mahoney's new partner with the dog. With the dog.
Yeah.
And he's not in it ever again. He was quite good. Like the slob character, he's like, dropped a bar of chocolate in a litter tray and he just eats it. Like,
who's your favourite character out of all of them?
Oh, it's too hard.
I know yours is Commandant Lassard, Nathan.
I think I like Jones. I like the thing with I just like the effects, and it's in the, it's only thing.
Yeah, as a kid, I always loved Jones because the sound effects were amazing. But I wanted to be Mahoney.
I like a few of them actually because I like Tackleberry as well, just because he's so nuts.
But Tackleberry is my favourite. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I love Tackleberry. He's absolutely brilliant, and I can't think of anybody better to play that character.
I like Hooks as well though, because I think
she's
my favourite bit is in the first one where she's singing "Santa Claus is Coming to Town" in the car while she's driving along for no reason. It's in the middle of summer and she's taking her time.
It's brilliant. It's really good.
You're like, what? Oh,
dear. It's really, really good. Yeah.
All right, standout scenes then. What's your favourite standout moment from the Police Academy saga?
Oh,
that's tricky. I don't know.
I'll tell you my favourite bit. It's the bit, I've told you this before, where Tackleberry pulls his magnum out, threatens to shoot the shark in the fucking swimming pool. I know. Yeah. Out of the pool now, mister. Like that. And the shark's like, whoa, all right, this guy's serious. I'm out of here.
God, what's my favourite bit? I mean, look, the Blue Oyster bit is obviously the most famous bit, isn't it? That's just...
That's back when straight men were so scared of being turned gay by going into a gay bar playing the same bloody tune, because it's that
tango music. Yeah.
Big T just said this was a police.
There was a Police Academy animated series.
That tells you how popular the shit was with the kids, man.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting to know when that came out. When did the animated series come out? Do you know?
I don't know.
I bet it had a few of the cast in it as well.
It had Jones was in it doing his voices. But they actually had the characters in, but they didn't have the cast. So I think Mahoney was in it, but they didn't.
1988. So that would have been when all of the... That would have been just after you'd have lost Guttenberg.
Yeah.
And
they did a live action TV series as well.
Did they?
You know that? Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Richie's bits. So mine's Shark. Yours is the gay bar bit. And Lummy, what's your favourite sort of scene?
Too difficult.
Oh, I think Martin's put one there. Hightower ripping the seats out of the police car.
Oh, that was pretty. Yeah.
That is pretty good.
Well, no, but it wasn't police car. So that was it. So yeah, so he comes to Mahoney. He's got to take his driving element of the exam, and he's scared. And it's 2 a.m. Like Mahoney's asleep, and this huge towering Hightower just stood over him. And he's like, I'm kind of scared. I can't drive. So they go out. They get into this car, and he's just squashed up in this car. And he's like, why don't you just take the front seats out as a joke? And Hightower rips the seats out. They're sat in the back. And that's when they crash into the back of that other bloke. And he comes out and he's like, are you an idiot? And he takes one look and he's like, oh, just walk up. But that car wasn't a police car. It was one of the 2 cadets that were working for Harris. Oh. No, it was one of their cars.
Okay, right.
Yeah, because he ends up wanting to come and fight Mahoney for it.
God bless. Yeah. I can't help but think that Claire Forlani would have been way too young to be in this. But if I think about it, if it's 1994 when Moscow came out, Mallrats was out in 1995 and she was in that.
Yeah, that's true. God.
So she's not as young as you think. How weird.
I'm still trying to think of a favourite bit. It's too hard. I honestly...
It's all right. Maybe I should have narrowed it down. Favourite bit out of each movie.
Right, well... Tackleberry in the first one is that the training course bit where he goes, "Come with me," and he starts like going crazy and he's shouting, "Tackleberry!"
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
I'll have that from first one.
Where's it watchable? This Gittins? I'm assuming.
No, the only one that's available online for free is the first one, and that is on. I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, I'll watch it on Netflix.
Okay, I might watch the first one again just for you boys.
Yeah,
first one's great. We had a lovely time watching it last night. It was just a really good
the commissioner and the fish.
That's right. The thing that makes me laugh the time. Yes, the committee. You've just reminded me. Right, there's a bit in one of them where they go to a restaurant with the hot plate on the top of the thing, like a sushi restaurant, right? And he puts his fish down on the thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's boiling, right? But that doesn't make me laugh. The chef guy's there and he's flipping all the stuff with his knives, right? And he flips the thing and it hits him in the head. The commissioner, right? And it makes me laugh every time because he says something like, "What are you doing, you stupid bastard?" But it's the way he says it. It makes me laugh every time. And the reaction. So that's the funny bit. It's very similar to the Dumb and Dumber snowball going in.
Yeah.
It's one of them where you just know it's coming and you laugh.
Yeah, Three Amigos has got a few bits, like we were talking about last week, a few bits of stupid slapstick that you can't help. But when it's done right, it's a beautiful art form.
It is.
I really do think.
But so very few of them stayed on for all 7 films. The guy who played Commandant Lassard was in all 7.
Yeah.
I think it was Tackleberry as well. Or is he left by the 6th?
He sadly died, Tackleberry. Oh, no, he's in them all. No, it was...
Jones is in them all.
He died. No, he's in them all, is Tackleberry. I thought he wasn't in the 7th one, but he's there on the poster. So you can see on the poster there, look, Jones.
Tackleberry.
Yeah, Paul David Graff.
Even Proctor's not in that one, is he?
He died in 2001.
Officer Boobies is in there.
Callahan.
Yeah.
So, they're all given really weird bit parts in that way.
There, he replaced Mahoney, didn't he, really, number 5?
No. So the guy who did it in 5 only did 5. Only did 5 and 6, and
No,
it was a different guy. No, it's a different guy. It's a different guy. And he's not fit to wear his trousers at all. It's like, look, Stephen Gutenberg's the best, and then the guy who took over from was all right. He's all right. He did 5 and 6, I think, and then it was a different guy in 7. Yeah. And he's just not funny at all. And there's just a few bits in it that are just so like. Commandant Lassad's whole storyline is that he's supposed to go and be with this political family and talk with them, or this certain family, but he gets into somebody else's car, and he ends up spending the whole time with this other family, just this regular normal family, and it's just. I mean, it's a little bit, National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Do you think they'll be able to reboot it now?
I think they would, yeah, but I think it would be a very different show. It'd be a very different film.
I think there'd be a reboot.
Who would you have it in? Let's do this, right? Who would you have it in?
Okay.
Your dream cast to have it in to replace the characters. You've got to replace the characters them like Mahoney. Who would be your Mahoney? Who would you have in it as that role now? So the lead.
I mean, it's got to be. So it's got to be somebody with funny bones, who's a pretty good-looking guy.
Who's quite good at pulling off a dramatic role as well. Maybe like somebody like Ryan Reynolds or something.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds would be brilliant.
And
Ryan Reynolds would be brilliant at that. Yeah.
I mean, if we're going Dreamcast, then you can have whoever you want in it. Yeah, then I would put Melissa McCarthy in it somewhere as well.
Yeah,
as
Hooks.
Hooks.
Or somebody like that. Yeah, so you got to have. I don't know. It's difficult because so much of it is on PC now. Hey, Ryan Reynolds, me and Martin are around syncing.
Do you know what? It's funny actually, because one thing I did, the only thing I really Mahoney, the bits where he's just being a bit of a perv. Yeah, okay. The bits where the F word's used as a homophobic slur quite frequently, that was weirdly shocking, which is strange because it's a word that used to be so commonplace, but it was kind of like, oh, okay, that's a shock. But there are a couple of racist comments that are made that are very, very quickly smacked down, normally by Hightower. Yeah. So there's a couple of moments where somebody's racist and Hightower's right there, and everyone's like, fucking hell, knowing that what that person's done is wrong. So I don't know how inappropriate that is in those terms, but there's a bit of homophobia in there and a bit of perviness, but with there being nothing left that is allowed to make jokes of. I mean, we're still allowed to make jokes about stupid people. You're allowed to make jokes about anything you want, man. It's just whether you're prepared to have any consequences for it. I think you're allowed to make jokes about stupid people, of course. And I can't remember whether they got more risque or did they get tamer in terms of nudity and things like that.
Oh, they got tamer, definitely.
I mean, it just had Callahan as the sex symbol, didn't it?
It got to. I think they realised there were a massive market for kids with these films. That's what it feels like, because the first one were at 15 as well. Yeah, came out.
But it was the fourth one, wasn't it? Where they wasn't there a Japanese recruit?
No, that's number 5, I think.
Is that where Callahan and him end up having like the training fight? And
yeah, but you don't see it all.
No, but it's still kind of suggested, isn't it, that she's like the sex symbol in it, but otherwise there's nothing else as gratuitous as the first one. No. I mean, they went right off that we want something that is like Porky's pretty much straight away as soon as that first one was, halfway through making the first one.
Excuse me. I tell you what, man, the number of people that mistake Captain Lassard for bloody Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. Yeah.
The number of people that think Leslie Nielsen is in these fucking films is crazy.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me though, because it's almost like he's stolen his. I mean, I'm not really familiar with anything else the guy's done other than Commandant Lassard, but it's like you've stolen Leslie Nielsen's act. Yeah. At a time when Leslie Nielsen was
still doing his act.
Yeah, exactly.
Many recruits. Many.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. So if you had to pick up, have you seen them all, Nathan? Or
yeah, I've seen them all at some point. The thing is with me as well is I quickly realised personally that Naked Gun and Police Squad were far superior to Police Academy for me. The jokes by the Zucker brothers in those movies. I've always been a Zucker brothers fan. Again, you couldn't make any of these fucking movies again now, Airplane and stuff like that. They did have a couple of risque jokes in it. But for me, Naked Gun came around the time that I got fed up with Police Academy. I didn't want to watch it anymore. It sort of took over for me. And it's a little bit more, it's a lot more surreal than Police Academy is Naked Gun.
Of course.
There's moments in there that are just like, what? You know, there's some crazy shit going on. But yeah, I love those. But back before OJ, we figured out that OJ was a murderer. And he's in the films. He's got a pretty big role in them. And his role's great because he's always getting fucking beaten on. He's always getting pushed out of a window, pushed down some stairs. Or he's always the guy who falls into the fucking water first or whatever. I don't know if you remember that, Gittins, but he's constantly being elbowed out of the way. And, you know what I mean? He's actually not bad at the old pratfalling stuff. Yeah. But yeah, pretty bizarre.
It's weird to watch him now with him in it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, you do watch him and go. I recently watched Police Squad again. You know, the TV series. Yeah, it was brilliant. You know.
Yeah, the TV show was absolutely great. Some great lines in it.
Cancelled because all the thick people watching it didn't realise it was a spoof.
Yeah, Airplane as well, Martin. Yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah, people didn't get it. They were like, "What's this?"
I mean, I thought it was pretty obvious.
One series, 6 episodes.
But you can't beat. I mean, yeah, we all know the Shirley. Stop calling me Shirley thing. But there's jokes in it that you forget about that are really, really, really good. We got to get this guy to a hospital. A hospital? What is it? It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now. Just shit like that. It cracks me up. I really love the Zucker brothers' way of working. Even Top Secret. I'm a champion for Top Secret. It's fucking brilliant. That bit when he comes out of the toilet in the jail cell. Yeah. It's just nuts.
Val Kilmer's good in that as well.
I know, he's brilliant. He's brilliant in it.
And Top Secret's great, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah, it's really good.
I haven't seen that for years.
Well. Peter Cushing.
Wow, yeah. But yeah, I do prefer the Zucker brothers stuff to the Police Academy stuff. But like I said, I haven't seen them for a long time. I think there is as well, and I'd really like to watch some of them again. Repossessed.
Oh yeah, Repossessed.
God, somebody Martin's just commenting down here.
Repossessed. If you're watching, you haven't seen Repossessed. It's one that don't get
I've seen Repossessed.
Airtime. It's brilliant.
Oh mate, and it's got the original actress from The Exorcist in it, playing the same. Yeah, it's got Linda Blair in it again, playing the comedy version. It's pretty great.
It's a great film. Yeah.
Yeah, which is the one? Is it Naked Gun where it starts off and he's in like the Middle East and he kicks the shit out of Colonel Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein and he just knacks everybody. Yasser Arafat and he's just knacking them all. It's brilliant. Yeah, and he rubs Mikhail Gorbachev's birthmark off his head.
Chewing gum.
I knew it.
Yeah, man. So good. Yeah. Priscilla Presley as well, obviously.
Oh yeah. Nice Beaver.
She's good in it as well.
It's a great line where Priscilla Presley goes up the ladder into the attic to get something, and Leslie Nielsen looks right up and he goes, looking right up the eyeline of the hem of her skirt, sort of thinking, "He's wow, nice beaver." And she brings a beaver down and goes, "Thanks, I just had it." It's totally stupid. The safe sex thing. I always practice safe sex, and then they're rolling around in giant condoms, and it's great.
But having watched Police Academy 1 last night, it did certainly make me want to watch 2, 3, and 4 again. The others, I would. Do you know what? I would give 5 a go because it's Lummy's favourite, so I'd watch it again. I don't have any bad.
I don't know if it's my favourite. I mean, you know, it's
out of all of them. I thought you said it was your favourite.
No, I do like number 4, actually. I don't know why. I'll tell you what, I always loved the poster for number 4. I remember going to cinema when I was a kid and seeing the poster and going, wow! I mean, the guy who draws them, who comes up with them, Drew Struzan, I've been on he's got a Facebook page and he puts all the original artwwork up for all this stuff. So if you
what's his name again?
Drew Struzan.
Okay.
He did. Raiders are Lost.
No, I know he did. I know he did, but it was just in case anybody wanted to go and have a look on Facebook.
Tons more Goonies. He's just got.
You can go through it. Yeah,
absolutely amazing at posters. Just brilliant. Yeah, I mean, I forgot that Drew Struzan did the posters, but it's just obvious when you see him, isn't it?
Drew Struzan.
Yeah, did all the Muppets films as well, yeah. Even the Muppet movie, the original ones. The Muppet movie turned 40 this week as well, didn't it?
Did it?
Yeah. How was it, the Muppets?
The Muppet movie, I know Raiders of the Lost Ark turned 40.
It's 81, isn't it? No, it wasn't the Muppet movie. It was the Muppets Great Muppet Caper, 81. Yeah,
40 years for Raiders of the Lost Ark and 25 years for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
really?
Weirdly, yeah. So all the films
years.
Weirdly, all the films that came out exactly 40 years ago are all got the same anniversary this year. It's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? All of them, every one of them.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's absolutely anybody who knows anything about movies. I'm looking at Big T Moore's comment there, but everyone who knows anything about movies wanted a poster done by him, including Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
I think Kevin Smith managed to get a poster from Mallrats out of him.
Do we have any other comments, Lummy, about Police Academy?
No, I don't think so. I think everybody's. Oh, don't move dirtbag. I've got a few quotes.
Don't move dirtbag. Yeah, she's brilliant. She was perfect in that cast. It's interesting, but also quite tragic. So, I've seen a couple of Comic-Con conventions where they're being interviewed, and she came across fucking brilliantly. The lady who played Callahan, Leslie, what was her name again? That's her name, Leslie Easterbrook. She comes across really well. But oh man,
what are you gonna say? Come on.
It's just such a shame because he tries so hard constantly, but Michael Winslow is just. It's just trying to upstage everybody all the time because doing the voices is the thing that he does. And it's when everybody's talking, he's just constantly like barking like a dog and things like that and disrupting the flow of things. Yeah. You know, he's quite an old guy now. You know, I mean, last time I saw him do anything as an older guy, he was on a talk show doing a Whole Lot of Love. And it was brilliant.
Have you seen his stand-up specials?
No.
He's done some stand-up specials. He does like the Jimi Hendrix guitar bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all cool. But I had to turn it off halfway through and watch it again later because I had a headache after watching it.
Yeah.
This is the thing about him. I mean, I guess that's all I can really say about that guy. Is he's really, really good at using his mouth to make random noises. I don't find him funny. I saw the Whole Lot of Love thing, and it was clever. It was good, and I appreciate it.
It sounded good. It sounded good, yeah.
But he's not a comedian, and he's not an actor, in my opinion. You know, I think he fell into that. Here's a guy that can do voices. Maybe he's Eddie Murphy, and he just wasn't. You know, otherwise you'd have seen him in more shit, wouldn't you? Other than just the odd Police Academy.
Maybe.
That's what I meant about it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it in such a negative way. I mean, I feel like these Police Academy movies really were cancerous to some of the people who were in this. They couldn't get another job.
Well, no, they did.
I've never seen Captain Lassard in another fucking film. I've never seen Michael Winslow in.
Most of them went off and did theatre. Most of them went off and did theatre.
That don't count then, does it?
You're a dick. You're a massive dick.
Not say it's a bit of a step down once you've been a movie star.
I mean, here's an interesting one. The guy who played Captain Harris or Lieutenant Harris was in Short Circuit with Guttenberg.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Really
yeah. And the sequel for Short Circuit was so bad that Guttenberg wanted nothing to do with it, did he? Is he in that one? It's not him, is it? It's his mate. And the guy who browns himself up for the entire movie and puts a horrendous Indian accent on. And Michael McKean from fucking Spinal Tap and The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Not The Simpsons.
I still like Short Circuit too, but you can't, you know, it's a tough watch. It's a tough watch because of that.
Yeah, I didn't like Short Circuit too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's due for a reboot. I'm amazed they haven't done it yet.
Short Circuit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That could potentially look awesome as well, couldn't it?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the robots they're designing in real life are better than the robot.
That's a good point.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it would have to be AI or something else like that, wouldn't it? It would be like Westworld kind of AI.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you got anything else you want to say about Police Academy?
No, I think we've done pretty well there, covering it all. You know, it's.
What I was surprised was that out of all of I mean, it's such a huge genre of films, and they were massively popular. I'm really surprised that there isn't as many sort of YouTube videos dedicated to them. There's, you know, pages with clips and things like that, but like nothing from Cinema Sins, you know, like really, really slim pickings for any kind of facts about it or anything like that. I don't know if
there's. I was thinking about this earlier because I knew obviously we're coming on to do it. I don't think there's that much behind the scenes material on these films. Right. You know, like you can't get like making of books. You know, like I'm like with me making of.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that stuff out there for it.
And the thing is, I mean, maybe backing up what Webby's saying, that it seems like the cast that do all the Comic-Cons aren't tight-knit family. They do look out for each other, do look after each other. But I do wonder whether if they weren't as successful, not off the back of these films, but maybe there just wasn't anything else out there for them and they didn't work as much. Maybe they're just very grateful for the Police Academy films. So you've got to
remember, though, the Comic-Con circuit has only really been worth attending as a star of a movie for the past 10 years or so. There were Comic-Cons going back for years, but in the early 90s, they were laughable. Like,
no, I know that.
The fans used to go, but you wouldn't have got the whole cast from a movie there. But now they've got a second stream of income from these things, man. You know what I mean?
But what I'm trying to say is, in reference to what Lummy was saying about there not being many behind-the-scenes things, is that actually you then tend to, if there isn't behind-the-scenes footage or anything like that of a film, then you normally find out what happened behind the scenes from disgruntled people that were involved in the project. And I'm just wondering whether they're also grateful that they had it, because I've never heard any of them badmouth it. I've never heard any of them say anything bad about it.
I'd really like them to say, well, why is there no B-roll footage? Why are there no bloopers? I'd really like Steve Guttenberg to go, because we fucking got it right first time, man. we didn't fudge it up.
And
Lummy's reading his book. I could tell we've lost him.
I was just having a scroll down eBay to see if there's any actual Police Academy books.
You're on your own time, dickhead.
I thought it'd be interesting.
It's not your birthday today.
If there was any, all you can get is stuff for the animated series.
Oh, all right.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. It just seems like, you know, it's a bit of a closed shop in that sense, that nothing. It's good or bad has necessarily come out, you know.
As much as I'd like to, I guess, see some of the cast talk about their experience of filming these movies at a Comic-Con, there's something fundamentally sad about watching people that haven't done a movie for 30 years talk about a movie they did 30 years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of hard.
No, it's fair if you want to frame it that way, it is. But if they're happy talking about it, then who are we to, you know? I just think, you know, for some of these people as well, you know, it's a huge lifeline. You know, for some people who have been in shows for a long time ago,
I mean, it'd be better than being in something that didn't get any recognition at all, wouldn't it? I mean, that must be, you know, I mean,
didn't make it past the pilot, or
they
you know,
can earn a bit of a living on this stuff, can't they? You know.
Yeah. I mean, if I were a smart man, I'd be doing a Tarantino on Guttenberg and trying to get him in a really fucking awesome movie and resurrect his career. Because for me, Guttenberg, he's a star. He was great. He really was great, and a
lovely guy as well. Everyone says what a lovely guy. It's like him and Tom Selleck at the time were the two nicest guys to work with.
I read his book, you know, Guttenberg, Dave Jones from Cinema Webb. Got me his book, the Guttenberg Bible, right? And it's a really interesting read. And he faked his way in to get into Hollywood, you know. He went and walked onto the lot of whatever studio it was and set up an office. And you hear about that quite a lot in the old days. Spielberg did it, didn't he? He walked in and set up an office at wherever he was, Universal or whatever, and just started working, and nobody questioned it. I mean,
there's a whole plot line in Arrested Development where one of the girls, the young, what's she called? Maybe Funky. She ends up blagging her way into being a producer.
Yeah.
Because every time
that happens now.
Yeah. Every time somebody asks her what she's doing there, she just goes, "Marry me," like that, and they start laughing at her making this joke. And all of a sudden, she's actually on the sets. She's actually on the sets.
I was always tempted because at the Opera House they have the BAFTAs there and all that sort of stuff. I've always been tempted to just get in like the night before the BAFTAs with my pass and put on every single seat in that theatre my headshot, my CV, and a letter that just says, "Sorry, I can't make it tonight, but I'll see you next year." And I just think that's a really ballsy, cheeky thing to do that would definitely make sure I never worked at the Opera House again. But, or would it be just a load of people in the bar after just going, "Cheeky prick, you don't fucking I'm never hiring him. What a wanker," you know.
Man. I mean, it could
I'd be too scared to do it.
I think, you got to show up to a studio in Hollywood with your headset on like that and just hang around with a clipboard and then walk up to behind George Lucas and Dave Filoni talking about Star Wars and going, "No, I think that's a mistake. What you want to do is get Greedo back in it." Or, you know what I mean? They were like, "Who is this fucking genius?"
Steve, Guttenberg got the role in this over other people. And okay, so who else do you think was up for the role of Mahoney?
Here we go with your fucking wish list.
Tom Hanks was definitely up for the part of Mahoney. I can't remember his name, but what was the name of the guy in Police Academy? One of the detectives. What's the actor's name? The taller one with the Billy. What's the actor's name?
Do you mean in Beverly Hills Cop?
No, in real life. The actor's name. Can you remember his name?
Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold. That's it. He was up for it as well.
Could see that.
He's up for the part of Mahoney. But the reason Guttenberg got it was his dad was a policeman and he turned up at the audition wearing his dad's police outfit.
Fair enough.
Bloody hell.
It'd have been better if he got his dad to shoot everybody if they didn't give him the part. He's a cop who's going to lock you all away if you don't give me this role.
That seems to work, doesn't it, in America, that? If you turn up in the outfit, they can see it. If you do that over here in auditions, they'll just go, "Was this it?"
Well, it depends. If it's a commercial audition, all of the commercial auditions I've turned up dressed as the character.
Right.
So like if Workman turn up wearing some paint.
Maybe you're going wrong.
Overalls.
Maybe what you should be doing is showing up as the product. dress up like a Twix or a fucking.
I'll tell you what. I've done so many self tapes this week. I've done 3 self tapes this week.
Nice, that's good.
You never hear all that from me. You think,
no. Despite the whole, yes or no. We hear actors. We hear you. You'll get your yes. I had one a couple of weeks ago, and it was a rejection, and I just said to my agent, I was like, "I'm over the moon that they sent a rejection," and they were like, "Really?" I was like, "Well, yeah, because I can put it to bed now." Do you know what I mean?
You know what? I'll tell you this because we didn't get it in the end. I had this penciled in. Me, Terry, Eddie, and Nat. We were penciled in for a job the other week. We got penciled in for it. We did two rounds of auditions and got penciled in. We were going to get $4.5 grand each for this job, and we were penciled in to do it, and then it just all fell away. Because penciled in means jack shit.
Damn it. Yeah, penciled in means easily erasable, doesn't it?
yeah. It's I've had it before where I've been penciled for a job, and it's that thing of, oh well, they're gonna let me know because I've had a recall. They really like me. I've had a wardrobe measure. Okay,
malfunction.
Yeah, penciled in, and then you find out that like the day of the filming goes by, and you're like. Yeah. I mean, I might still be in with a chance. It's
well, they said with this one, we'll let you know Friday or Monday. It'll definitely be Friday or Monday. We'll let you know. Right, waited Friday, then Monday, and Monday it got to 6 o'clock. I thought they haven't cancelled it yet. Have we got it? And then next day, oh sorry, take your pencils off. Like,
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Sorry, buddy.
To hear that.
It's a tough business.
Oh, it's all right, big team.
That's a fucking
it's
great.
It's part of the job, though.
It's a great line. That's from. That's from League of Gentlemen with the guy who was almost famous in the 70s in a band, a creme brulees band, we're called. And he keeps cracking on about it. Oh, it's a shit business. It's a shit business. Chew you up.
It's a shit business. Gentlemen, is there anything that you would like to share with our community before we leave them for a week or for kind of 2 weeks for me? Anything you want to share? Webford, anything going on?
I got this rash.
Oh no! Where is it?
I'm not
sure.
Where is it? I don't want to share the rash.
Where is the rash?
Nobody's got a cure for it.
Where is the rash?
Where is it? I'm only kidding. I don't have a rash.
No.
Clean as a whistle. Although my son did today tell me he's got the spots on his bum. Like,
nice.
What are you talking about? You haven't got any spots on your bum. He says, I have. I've got spots on my bum. I was like, show me your bum. And show me. There's no spots there. He's like, there are the spots. It's one of them conversations you end up having with a 4-year-old.
And how you laughed, Crocky.
Get to bed, you spotty ass little shite.
It's like, I don't have spots on my bum.
I didn't go to the. I was going to go to the Comic Con yesterday in Leeds, but I didn't get a chance to go. We should try and find a Comic Con that we could all go to. You know,
that would be great. I'll be up for that.
Can we just acknowledge Big T Moore's made a good suggestion there? However, I feel like we should decline doing Tarantino because he's only done 10 films, and I don't feel like there's enough there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think we might be able to go with best and worst Tarantino. We'll discuss that, Big T. I think that's a great suggestion.
Well, it's a great suggestion. I'm not shitting on your suggestion. I just think we'd struggle with the amount of work. I can see us picking the same favourites.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not doing it next week, so.
Well, we're not doing it. Yeah, shit, we're not doing that next week.
Well, we will. We might be doing a best and worst next week, but we're gonna talk about what that topic's going to be. But yes,
you two could do with the best and worst Tarantino because it'll eliminate another 2 choices for you.
Well, no, because we got Nat, haven't we, on the show as well?
You can just sit there.
You fucking dick. Right, look, is there anything
for the whole show? I thought she would just start at the end.
No, she's coming on. She's our official replacement. We're going to ask her. We're going to ask her to dress like you.
I'll be coming on.
No, you what? Not allowed. You're banned.
Yeah, we've got to admit you.
No, you don't. I'm going to hack the system. I'm going to change the passwords.
What, by going?
Yeah.
Anything going on this week, Lummy?
You've upset Big T more now.
I want to do Tarantino.
That's actually meant to be the finger. That one.
That comment they are upset at all. It looks like the same.
Fair enough. No problem. That's what he's saying.
Unless
for ages, I couldn't find the fingers crossed emoji on my phone, so I was just using that instead. I was like, I'm reclaiming it. I'm reclaiming it, folks. So yeah, whenever it's fingers crossed.
Do you ever send the wrong emoji by accident and then realize that I've done that a few times, where you send the one that's like instead of like a wink, you send the kissy one to somebody you don't want to.
No.
Never done that.
Done that before.
I have. I've done it. I do it a lot. Yeah, I do it a lot because I'm not really. My eyes are getting really bad with my phone. I need to get some phone glasses.
Oh, it's funny, Webby. That explains it. That explains it because Webby keeps sending me this emoji, like the OK emoji, with that emoji, and I was just I'm never quite sure what he's on about. Never quite sure what he's on about.
I don't know what you're talking about, Gittins, now. However, I would send you that emoji, and you would know exactly what it was on about. Exactly what it was on about. I am out of the three of us, I am the one that will send a kiss after my text messages, sometimes a kissy winky face, just because I don't mind expressing my emotions. I
don't either.
I can't cover everything with a fucking thumbs up, can I? I'm a red-blooded male.
I mean, you sent it to the wrong person. You didn't want to do that. I don't mind sending the odd.
I did send a vomiting emoji by accident, but I can't remember who to or what the context was. But it definitely didn't need the person throwing up after what they'd said to me. It might have been one of you guys. But I was like,
no, I did send my agent an email the other week though that I had to very quickly send an apology about because I just you're kind of enthusiastic.
You sent a topic, didn't you?
What the fuck did I send? Right, I said thanks for sending this over. I'm on it. Sending huge sweaty dollops of love heading your way. And then I just looked at it and went, I've already sent that. Huge sweaty dollops of love heading your way. That's disgusting. And I had to someone back just being like, that sounds horrendous. I'm so fucking sorry. So
Have you ever confused yourself so much by sending the wrong thing that you forgot what you originally meant to send? Because I've done that before. I've had like huge sweaty. What were you trying to say? Huge sweaty dollops of love.
No, I just said huge sweaty because it was a really hot day. So I was like, big sweaty dollops of love. But I just realised it sounded a bit like something else.
Does anybody else wish that autocorrect would grow up a bit? And when I'm trying to write fucking, stop calling it ducking. I mean, we know what I'm trying to say.
I mean,
it's just wasting my time and frustrating me.
Correct. Every time I try and I used to do this for the prequels show. Every time I typed everybody's name out or was on the thing, you guess next week, Natalie Smeaton always changes it to Sneaton whenever I type it in. And it fucking drives me insane. I'm like, I type this all the time. Why are you trying to change it to Sneaton? Yeah. I think Sneaton doesn't even make sense. What's a Sneaton?
I think I've said this before, but my old agent, we got on really great, and I sent her a message once that was just like, just sending loads of love to you and your lovely big family, and autocorrect changed family to Fanny. So that was That was fun.
that's the opposite way of what usually happens. Isn't it? I'm trying to swear. It's correcting it to something pleasant. I don't want you to collect. You know, I want people to know my feelings about things. It's fine. I'm saying fucking, just for the record. It's very unlikely, guys, that I'm going to send you ducking, unless I'm talking about bullying people in a swimming pool.
So, Lummy, where are you going to be next week while Nathan and I are doing our Harry Potter special with Nat?
I've got a gig at a place called Old King's Arms. It's a pub in Horsforth, and it's a night called King Comedy.
Nice. Excellent. And then you'll be back the week after?
Yes.
But you'll be popping up during next week's show, won't you?
I'm going to try, yeah. We have the break, so I'll probably come on and give you a quick update on how it's going.
Cool. Yeah, very much look forward to that. You won't. You'll be absolutely fine. Anything else going on this week?
The gig don't start till 8 as well, so maybe I could come on at the start.
No, we don't want you. God, don't be messing us around.
I could do it live from the car outside the pub, you know what I mean? The start. And then go in.
I'm here, guys. Brilliant. Let me in. I've got stuff to say. I really have.
I mean, when I come on, you could just you could take that out when I come in. You know what I mean?
I think we're gonna ask Nat to try and do a best impression of you and dress up like you and shit.
That'd be great. That'd be good. That'd be fun. And is there any box office radio this week, Lumster?
Yes, I've got my little thing this week for you. Look, here we go. You ready? Put that in. There you go. It's music from the films of Michelle Pfeiffer tomorrow.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that? I
was looking through the soundtracks as you do, and I thought, who can I do? Do you know why I keep doing these special ones? It's because it makes you delve into the soundtracks a bit more and find tracks you probably wouldn't normally play.
It's easier to categorize things as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You know, covering certain movies, and then if composers you've already covered come up later, you can mention stuff again. I don't know if you know this about Lummy Gittins, but he fucking loves Michelle Pfeiffer, don't you?
Yeah.
A lot of people know that. He fancies her. Yeah, he's fancied her for ages.
Well, maybe that could be one of our best or worst one week. Best or worst Michelle Pfeiffer film.
That'd be a great shout. Yeah,
that'd be a good one. Oh, I want to do that.
What?
Not for best and worst, but for box office radio. Yeah.
8 o'clock. So there's some different stuff on there. I even got a track from Grease 2.
Oh
wow!
Is it Cool Rider by any chance?
No, it's the
Cool Rider is a good song in fairness.
Yeah, I didn't put Cool Rider on, but I chose the one at the end.
Right, okay.
We got a bit of Batman on there. We got a bit of One Fine Day.
Oh, sweet,
nice. I got an Echo Dot last week, and I've just been really enjoying walking into my dining room going, "Hey Alexa, play Cleaning Up the Town by the Bus Boys." And that's coming out. Yeah!
You just reminded me, Terry got me an Echo Dot and I hadn't opened it yet. She got me one.
It's quite good fun.
I need to say, how is it?
Such a grown-up, Lummy. When I get a present, I pretty much open it straight away, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, he gets a present. He opens it straight away, and he's wearing the box. You know, that's how much of a grown-up you are, Lummy.
Yeah. In fact, I've recycled stuff straight away. And that's what I do. It's just going to end up in landfill. I better get it in recycling. Anyway,
that's why I got Echo Dots.
That is exactly why everyone got it. Yeah, and I've Amazon Fire TV as well. It was interesting week with Amazon, but it's about that another time. You don't know about that. So, anyone else got anything they want to say before we finish up?
Go check
Perfect.
Bruce Struzen out on Facebook.
Do that, and thank you very much for watching the show this week. Thank you for Martin. Thank you for Big T for your comments and your suggestions. It's not a show without you guys. Let's face it. Thank you to Webby and thank you to Lummy. But guys, please go over to our YouTube pages, give us a like, give us a subscribe, go to our Twitter feed and our social medias and give us a like and share the shit out of our material, because that's the best way that we can increase the size of this community. But for now, for me, for Rich, for Lummy and for Webby, we are going to see you next week. Thank you very much and goodbye.